It's been since New Year's Day 1965 since Oregon State has smelled the roses in Pasadena, losing a one-sided game to Michigan. Mike Riley and the Beavers of 2008 have defied the odds with an improbable field-rushing victory toppling the Trojans. And a week ago, got their last-second kicks over the Cats in Tucson. Tonight, the Pac-10 title and the Rose Bowl are in the crosshairs for Oregon State, but standing between the Beavers and history are their hated rivals, the Oregon Ducks. The 112th Civil War is next on Versus. Sold out Reser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon, on the campus of Oregon State, where today the Beavers host their rivals from Eugene, the Oregon Ducks. We take a look at the Pac-10 standings and see what is on the line today. Oregon still with hopes of forcing a three-way tie. A win today for Oregon State would give them the Pac-10 championship. Hi again, everybody. Along with Glenn Parker, I'm Tim Neverett. Anne-Marie Anderson joins us shortly. One of the big questions around here all week, would the Pac-10's #1 rusher, Jacquizz Rodgers, play in this game? Mike Riley told us no.
No, unfortunately, a big hit against Arizona last week. A real shot on that shoulder. He is out now for this game. So that brings up the question, with him walking on the field, who will walk in his shoes? Who is going to pick up a little slack? And that'd have to come down to his big brother, James. James, whether it's on an end around or whether it's him running the ball out of the backfield if they must. And then, of course, he's a receiver as well. So he's a big-time weapon for them. He makes people miss. He's a lot like a punt returner when you give him the ball. But I'll tell you what, Lyle Mullival is the guy this offense has to run through. At quarterback, he gives them their best chance for success. He's a guy that they just like his attitude. He says they say it's infectious in that huddle, and that's who Lyle Mullival is.
Lyle Mullival back in the starting lineup after missing last week's game at Arizona due to injury. The quarterback for Oregon, the offense runs through him, Jeremiah Masoli.
Yeah, it certainly does. And, you know, he's one of those guys that I think most people can't get a grip on because he's much stronger than he looks. He'll run right through tackles. But then he's also got an extra gear, and when he breaks loose, watch out. This guy can simply fly. He is a guy that, when he's asked to throw the ball, can do so accurately, but it all really starts with the run for Oregon. And that means it goes through one of these two guys, Jeremiah Johnson or LeGarrette Blount. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was down on the sideline, LeGarrette Blount, that guy is huge. He is a horse. Watch for this guy to run the ball.
Well, it's the 112th version of the Civil War here in Oregon, and it's one of the most meaningful Civil War games ever.
The Civil War football game, which has gone on for over, a century or something, is what everybody talks about. You're on one side of the fence or the other, and that's it. So I've been a part of a lot of pretty big games. It's as big as it gets. For me right now, it's bigger than anything.
Capacity crowd at Reser Stadium in Corvallis. A lot on the line today for Oregon State as they're hoping to smell the roses in Pasadena. Let's go down to the field and check out the Under Armour click-clack cam.
The last sound you hear before you step on the field. Click, clack. I think here is coming.
And there go the Oregon Beavers taking the field here at Reser Stadium as they get set to try to do it one more time. Oregon is in their way. A moment ago, our Anne-Marie Anderson caught up with the head coach of Oregon State, Mike Riley.
Coach, we said during the week that this is potentially the biggest game you've ever coached in. What did you tell your players before coming to the field today?
Well, it is, don't have to tell them much, but I just said be true to yourself. Go out there and play like you have all year and have fun with it. Compete like crazy, and that's about all you need with these guys. They'll be ready to go.
Coach, with the absence of Jacquizz Rodgers today, how do you expect to compensate for that in your running game?
Well, we feel good about our other backs. They're good backs, and they have played. They came in last week and played well. Ryan McCants played all year. We got to find our balance, and they'll be the ones that'll do it for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Thanks.
And on the other sideline, Mike Bellotti, who's been in many of these games before, his 14th season as head coach of the Ducks, 114-55. come dressed for success today. Back deep to receive, Jameer Holland. Justin Cahut will kick it off for Oregon State. And the Civil War is underway in Corvallis. And Holland is going to be knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line and a penalty marker on the first play. The referee is Jay Strickers.
On the tackle.
So first down, but not where Oregon wanted it to be.
You know, you talk about the importance of special teams. It all comes down to field position. On your opening drive, you have a mistake. So not only have your special teams hurt you right off the bat, penalties have hurt you, and you're on the road where it's already very, very tough to win.
Jeremiah Masoli out of San Francisco, 5'11", 214. Guiding this run-based Oregon Ducks offense. Johnson in motion. And they'll throw on first down. Maybe, maybe not. Another sack. As this team has been racking up sacks. Keaton Christic with his third sack of the year. Oregon in the backfield. Johnson along with Williams, Mail, and Scott, the wideouts, Dixon, the tight end. Up front, Max Unger. He is the man who anchors that Ducks offensive line. Second down, throw to the far side. And Greg Laybourne there to make the tackle for the Oregon State Beavers. Up front, very strong. Norris and Butler, very good coming off the edge. The linebackers, Christic, Cornell, and Pankey, the speediest trio they've had here in some time. And Al Afalava, one of the very strong senior defensive backs. Third down. Incomplete. Keenan Lewis broke it up.
Well, earlier in the series, he had Terrence Scott wide open on a curl, and this time they come back and they're looking to go on the fly. Unfortunately, the ball's there. Great defensive play by Keenan Lewis on defense there. Really does a nice job putting his hand through the ball, knocking that away. Good job by Lewis, turning around and seeing the ball. Very tough to do as a DB.
Sammy Strotter holds the Oregon State record with 3 punt returns for touchdowns. But he's trying to get something going now. He moves to the far sideline. And Strotter into Ducks territory. And out of bounds inside the 45-yard line.
Now, what Strotter did so well there, what so few people do on returns, is he headed straight upfield. He didn't look to try to make people miss off the bat. It's get upfield, then get to daylight. Strong run back by Strotter.
And here's Lyle Moivau. He'll put the ball at the 47. And Moivau, again last week, sitting out with the injured shoulder. He was dressed and ready to play. Sean Canfield was taking the snaps last week for the Beavers. And Moivau lets it go, and wide open McCants. And he is out of bounds inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. Ryan McCants replaces Jaquiz Rogers today. James Rogers, look for him to be moving. Sammy Strotter, Shea Morales, and Howard Kroom, the tight end. Andy Levitre, he is the leader of this offense. Tavita Thompson starting on the right side. Very quick when he pulls on the fly sweep. Second down and 5. That's Rogers in motion. And Moivau gives to McCants, who is met at the line of scrimmage. Oregon defensively with 4 across lines up this way. Cole Linehan, very good defensive tackle. Keep an eye out for Nick Reed. Casey Matthews, Spencer Paysinger on the outside, Jerome Boyd on the other side, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Jairus Byrd and Patrick Chung making his 50th start today for Oregon. Nick Reed, senior from Trabuco Canyon, California, has 10 sacks. Moival throws incomplete, looking for Rogers.
Well, Jairus Byrd was right on that ball. Moival very lucky this didn't go back pick six. He stepped back, he looked, and he never saw Byrd, the corner, come off the sideline and back into the line of where the ball was being thrown.
So Jairus Byrd will go back deep to receive the Johnny Hekker punt. Hekker averaging nearly 39 yards a kick. And Byrd brought one back this year, 87 yards against Purdue. He's going to watch this one go into the end zone for a touchback. 7th touchback provided by Hekker. We'll take a timeout. This is college football on Versus. Well, that's what they want for Christmas around here, is a trip to Pasadena, but they've got to come up with at least one more point than the opposition today, and that's not always easy as far as Mike Bellotti is concerned. No score with Glenn Parker and Anne-Marie Anderson, Tim Neverett at Reser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon. Second possession of the game now for the Oregon Ducks. And Masoli out of the gun. Ducks will not use a huddle. Overthrown, intended for Jason Williams, the senior from Inglewood, California. Let's take a look at our Craftsman tools for success.
Well, I think what happens, Oregon on defense must get pressure on Moival, and they've got to score early. Take this crowd right out of the game. Now, Oregon State, on the other hand, they got to stop the run, and that means they also have to utilize all of their offensive weapons when they get the ball. They can't become predictable.
Penalty marker out on second down.
False start. 68, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
One of the things you're seeing early out of Oregon is they are trying to throw the ball. They know they're getting man up on the outside. If I was playing Oregon, I'd do the same thing. I'd play man and say, Masoli, you beat me with your arm, not your feet. Well, they're trying to get something done in the passing game to loosen up that running game.
2nd and 15. On the ground they go. It is Jeremiah Johnson. And Johnson slips out of bounds, getting across the 20 and up around the 23-yard line. Jeremiah Johnson from Los Angeles, a senior for this Ducks team.
Now, one of the odd things here, you see the center, big number 60, pulling. Not a lot of teams will pull center. They do. That's Max Unger with a good cut block. That springs Jeremiah Johnson for the 3 yards. That's the only way he gets it. Without that block, he's not there.
3rd and 6. Masoli has some room. He lets it go downfield. It's complete for the first down. Afalava in on the tackle. Terrence Scott on the receiving end. The 41st catch of the year for the senior out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's good for 17 yards.
Terrence Scott, good job of coming back for this ball. He's running deep on a little curl, realizes there's a bit of a scramble coming on, and he'll come back to the quarterback. He'll be coming in the screen on the left side. See him right down there. He comes back to the ball, gives his quarterback a good target right in a little void. He sits down, makes himself big.
This time the sweep. Jameer Holland running across midfield. Greg Laybourne would make the tackle. Laybourne this year has been the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Week 3 different times. It's an unseasonably warm day here. 64 degrees, sunshine, t-shirt weather for many of the fans in attendance, most clad in orange. From the Beaver 49-yard line, first down. And Johnson is wrapped up in the backfield. Stephen Paya, the sophomore from Los Altos, California, getting in there to lead the way for the defensive front.
Well, you take a look down inside. He takes on the block of the guard, goes right through on the backside of the center, and gets himself into the backfield and makes Jeremiah Johnson have to cut before he wants to, stopping that attack.
Pressure on Masoli, and he throws it up in the air for grabs. It is incomplete. Brandon Hughes had a chance to pick it off.
If you're an Oregon fan, that's the one mistake Masoli's allowed all day. That's a play that you don't ever want your quarterback to make. You're in trouble. Yes, you don't want to take the sack, but the last thing you do is turn the ball over. He throws this ball on his back foot up all the way across the field. Should have been a pick. That's his one. If you're the coach, you look at him and say, you got one. That was it.
3rd down and 13. Need to get to the 38 for a first down. And they will get that and more as Jason Williams is on the receiving end. Finally shoved out of bounds at the 17-yard line.
Well, I really think that Jeremiah Masoli's arm is underrated. They don't use him much to throw, even though that's how he got here. You look, he comes back. He looked off the safety, then came back to the out and up, and running free is Jason Williams. And, you know, good job there. Credit Masoli. He didn't look down his receiver, even that's where he was going. He's not known as a thrower, but he looked really good there.
35 yards on the game, and on first down, penalty markers come out, and Masoli throws it deep. It is caught. Touchdown.
And it appears they're actually going to call it dead from what the one linesman is signaling, but we'll see if did he blow that whistle or not.
Jeff Mail on the receiving end, a sophomore from Paradise, California.
He did not blow it dead.
Touchdown.
So Oregon strikes first as Jeff Mail gets his 5th touchdown catch of the season, a 17-yard strike.
Well, everybody freezes a little bit when there's that offsides and nobody knows to stop. And good job by Masoli finding his receiver, leading him out there and putting it high and where only he could get it. And credit the receiver out there doing a nice job grabbing some real estate.
Ruling on the field is under review.
Well, this will come upstairs and they will take a peek at it.
We'll get a good look to see if he did indeed catch this ball. The ball is there. Both feet are in. I wonder what they're reviewing. It sure seemed like he caught it to me. Ball gets tucked away. Both feet come in. Down he goes.
Seems like he maintained control at the end.
It certainly does. Well, I'll tell you what. You have to credit this Oregon staff. It starts with Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator. What did they do? They knew that Oregon State was going to come out and play a lot of man. They were going to play a lot of players in the box. They were going to say, Oregon, if you can beat us with your arm, we haven't seen you do it against anybody else.
After
what makes us think you could now?
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Play results in a touchdown.
And credit Jeremiah Masoli, credit Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator. They used his arm and some movement to get themselves right down the field and score.
So Mail gets his first touchdown catch away from Autzen Stadium. All 4 of his touchdowns prior to that one had been at home. His first road touchdown. And Morgan Flint will come out to attempt the extra point for the Oregon Ducks. And the kick is through. And a 7-0 lead for the Ducks of Oregon. 10:41 to go in the first on Versus. (1962) Oregon State comes back after trailing 17-6 at the half. Soon to be Heisman winner Terry Baker throws the winning touchdown pass in a 20-17 win. Baker is carried off the field after the game. That was one of many big moments. A few Oregon folks hiding among the Beaver fans. 7-0. The Ducks ahead of Mike Riley's Oregon State Beavers. Matt Evans waits to kick it away to James Rogers. He brought one back 86 yards against Cal a couple of weeks ago.
Well, if you're a Beaver fan, you have to be frustrated. You got the ball the first time in plus territory. You came away with nothing. You had to punt, and now you're down in a game where emotion rules. So see what they can get going on this drive.
Rogers takes it from the 7. And Rogers is cut down at the 31-yard line after a 24-yard return. So the Beavers come back out on offense. And again, not just in the special teams area. They're going to need some help from James Rogers in the offensive end, too. Tonight's game is brought to you in HD by Pioneer.
And I look good in HD, Tim.
Especially when you're off camera. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gotta tell you. So happy you're with us here on this holiday weekend watching college football on Versus. First part of the doubleheader was a very good ball game. Texas Tech coming from behind to defeat Baylor. Baylor had a 2-touchdown lead in that game. And now here, Oregon on top first. 7-0 Oregon State, their second possession of the game. And it starts at their own 32. Fly sweep, Rogers. James Rogers up to the 40. Tackled by Patrick Chung, the roverback.
Well, he'll be coming in motion, so there he is. Now you get out in front, you get him in space. Remember, he's a punt returner, he's a kick returner. He's a guy when he's out in space now, he's making people miss. It's a great way to get the ball in the hands of a playmaker.
Rogers averages 9 yards a carry. He only got 8 that time. Always good when you can get second and short. So second down, 2 to go. McCants is the lone setback for Oregon State. Royval throws to McCants, first down. And McCants is cut down at the 46-yard line. A penalty marker comes out. Jeremy Francis, I beg your pardon, on the catch.
Well, they've run that play twice now.
Illegal block in the back on the offense, number 8. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Down to still 2.
They get James Rogers on the perimeter blocking. Now what they'll do is they'll run Jeremy Francis through the formation, so it's play action, and then right out to him. Now watch James Rogers right there blocking the back. Fans can get upset, but it's a great call by the officials. You've got to be smarter than that. Especially when you're at the point of attack, you have to know where you can and can't block. Remember, you're in the direct view of the officials when you're at the point of attack.
We thought we'd see Jeremy Francis play some. Saw him early. Now McCants is back in at the tailback spot. Rogers in motion. This is McCants getting collared from behind. So McCants.
I think what you're going to see is more and more, as good as McCants is, and remember he was a guy that won the starting job at one point. I think Jeremy Francis, he runs so much more like Quiz. I think you're going to see more and more of him simply from a comfort factor among the offensive linemen and the way he reads hold as compared to McCants.
Francis is back in on 3rd and 6. Royval throws over the middle. That is incomplete. Sammy Strotter was the intended receiver, but the middle linebacker, Casey Matthews, picked him up and ran with him.
They run a drag right in front of the linebackers, and if you're going to run that, there has to be something behind them to get the linebackers out of position. The linebackers were sitting on that the entire way across.
Jarris Bird looks at a short punt from Hecker. And that one goes out of bounds. The penalty marker is resting back at the Oregon State 32-yard line. So far, a lot of yellow laundry on the field in the first quarter.
Something to be expected from a rivalry game. People are getting after it a little bit. They don't want to be the guy that makes a big mistake.
So the penalty on Oregon State.
Well, now Oregon State, who gave up great field position and didn't get anything for it on their first drive, now finds themselves in a hole giving up great position.
Jay Strickers will fill us in.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
That'll give Oregon good field position to start their 3rd drive of the game.
Well, there's the hold right there at the bottom of the screen. You can't take a guy down. You got to be a little smarter than that. So the ball starts on the plus 45. Makes it a 9-yard punt.
Let's check in with Anne-Marie Anderson.
Oregon quarterback Jeremiah Mazzoli was 5th on the depth chart at one point this fall. He didn't even sign his letter of intent until May. I'll tell you guys after the snap what happened at the beginning of the season.
Mazzoli getting the play to everybody at the line, and the Oregon State crowd being less than accommodating to their visitors from Eugene. A quick flip. And Jeremiah Johnson goes down. Anne-Marie? Anne-Marie?
Well, injuries to two other quarterbacks early in the preseason led Mazzoli to find himself splitting time with Chris Harper in the Ducks opener. In fact, Mazzoli was so under the radar in the program that the PA announcer and the sports information director had his name wrong the first game.
Johnson trying to get around the right end. And he's out of bounds near the 40. And another thing about Mazzoli is that Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, talking about the fact that since he missed spring practice, or missed fall camp, I beg your pardon, it's kind of like having a true freshman out there in terms of his experience.
Yeah, and you have to give him things in little spoonfuls. You don't want to give him the whole playbook at once, and that's why he's gotten better as this year has kind of moved along. Well, we've got an official here to give us a call. Tell us just what infraction Oregon's guilty of.
Well, the preliminary indication is a penalty on each team. And he pointed at Oregon first, then did it again and pointed at Oregon State.
Illegal substitution on the defense. Penalties declined. Down will be 3.
So they had someone come into and out of the huddle, meaning they had too many men on. Look at the look up upper right up here. There's a guy running off that field. He's trying to get off, but because it was during the play like that, they called him. You can't have that many guys on the field at one time. We all know that rule.
Sole whips it out to Mail. Jeff Mail knocked down to the 20-yard line. So Jeff Mail with the touchdown in the game and a big play there, good for 19 yards.
Well, play action, come right back across the field, pick up a block by your wide receiver. Fans are thinking it was a block in the back out there, but remember, it's not a block in the back if a guy turns his back and runs from you. It is if you come up behind him and blast him. That's the difference between the two plays.
You just can't turn around on you. They want to put the ball at the 20-yard line. Mail so far, 3 catches, 46 yards.
Well, we'll take a look here. Well, he's pretty close to being out of bounds there. Well, about 2 yards shy where they marked it, I think.
LeGarrette Blount. Blount rumbles his way inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line.
Getting a big lead block by Fanoki Poe over there. You like that when you get a big 330-pounder running out in front of you.
Brandon Hughes, the cornerback, chased him down. LeGarrette Blount has 15 touchdowns this season. The next one would give him a single season record at Oregon. Solo to throw. Goes end zone. Out of bounds. He was looking for Terrence Scott over there, and Scott.
Well, you see it with Mazzoli. You see what you see out of him, Tim, is he's not completely accurate or comfortable with his throws yet. He knows where he's supposed to go with it, but it doesn't always get there in a timely manner. But yet we're still seeing him do great things throwing the ball this early.
From the 16-yard line, Mazzoli takes off, still at his feet, draws a crowd and loses yardage to the 21-yard line. Dwight Robertson.
Well, his receivers ran into each other, and that created a timing issue. So now he decides to take it and run. Unfortunately, sometimes you got to know when to go down. He should just take your lumps, get down, don't get yourself hurt. I know he's a running quarterback, and don't lose yourself yardage. But at least he didn't throw the ball into harm's way the way he did earlier in the game.
38-yard attempt by Morgan Flint. This one is up and good. So Flint connects from 38 and extends the Ducks' lead to 10-0. A good boot by Flint gives the Ducks a bigger lead on Versus. 1967, the first Civil War game at Autzen Stadium. Beavers quarterback Steve Priest scores the decisive touchdown in the last minute in a 14-10 Beavers victory. And we are back inside Reser Stadium, 40 miles up the road in Corvallis, 10-0. Oregon on the road with the early lead. Flint with the 38-yard field goal. Jeff Mayle has a 17-yard touchdown reception. And the Beavers getting the football back, hoping James Rogers can do something with it. Rogers will watch it go out of bounds, and the penalty marker comes out.
Well, that's one way to give up field position on a special teams play. Just kick it out of bounds. Boy, that frustrates you if you're the coach.
Out of bounds at the 9. So they'll bring it way up toward midfield.
Free kick, out of bounds, on the kicking team. Ball placed at the 40-yard line, first down.
Oregon State out of the gates in the last 15 games has outscored their opponents 153-27 in the first quarter, but a bad trend last week against Arizona. They had a scoreless first.
Yeah, and so far, not doing their best effort today, that's for certain. Oregon seems to be getting after Lyle Moivau and stopping the run for the most part.
McCants is the lone setback. Rogers in motion. There's a block from McCants, but McCants has stood up.
Well, Rashawn Harris right in there to make a big play. Rashawn's not a small guy at 6'5", 300. Shed a block, got there, and stood McCants right up, right at the line of scrimmage. You see him right in the middle, getting on the double team. Gets his arms out, gets good separation. That's exactly what you want a D lineman to do. Good separation, that stops the lineman's feet. Then he can shuck him and make a play.
McCants was expected to be the starter out of spring football until Jacquizz Rogers showed up, the true freshman. And Jacquizz Rogers at 5'7", if that, is very difficult for defenders to see once he gets into the line of scrimmage. Moivau swings it out. This is Jeremy Francis. And Francis to the 46, hit by Patrick Chung.
There you have to think Francis might have got a few more yards there and almost appeared he tripped over himself. But well-designed play, and Chung, that rover. Patrick Chung's a guy all over the field. He makes a lot of plays for this Oregon defense.
Patrick Chung, one of the team captains. Beavers 0 for 2 on third down. Moivau, play action. Will he run? He will, and he slides for the first down. So Lyle Moivau, sore shoulder and all, ends up being tackled by Patrick Chung, and Moivau picks up the first down.
Well, take a look here. It's the fake fly sweep out to Rogers. Now watch James Rogers in the front. He's going to pick up a block for him right there. That's a big block out of James Rogers to spring for that first down. You ask a guy to do everything sometimes. That's what they're asking James Rogers to become for them, and he's quietly doing it.
First down for the Beavers, and the handoff goes to Rogers. And Rogers is going to be sent down to the turf as Patrick Chung shouted him the whole way.
Well, here comes James Rogers, see, coming across, back across the formation, handoffs to him. Now, he's got to read that block a little better. He's got to come outside the outside hip of number 88, Kroom there, his tight end. It's the only way to set that block up. If you come from the inside out, it lets the defender play both you and the blocker. He's just got to get a little better at setting that one up.
Rogers in deeper motion this time. Moivau in the pocket, lets it go, it's caught. Sammy Strutter, he goes down to the 22-yard line. Strutter on the receiving end of a 22-yard pass from Lyle Moivau.
Well, this is a long route. When you're running routes this deep, you watch him, he'll be at the top of your screen. Just goes up the seam and out, just kind of curls it out, It's a long route, and your safeties have to see that. Great job by Moavau delivering the ball.
Fly sweep. Rogers was just trying to cut it inside. Spencer Pasinger looking to turn him inside, and that's a tough job for the outside linebacker in this defensive scheme against the fly sweep. Let's check in with Anne-Marie downstairs.
Oregon State's offense has sought unity in No Shave November with mixed results. On the field, of course, they've been perfect this month so far, but as far as the no shave goes, Moivau has a full beard, Canfield suffering with the name Patches, and then there's the Rogers brothers who are baby-faced, but you know, Tim, they're only 18 and 19 years old.
They are indeed, but they've got some facial hair. So does Danny Langsdorff, the offensive coordinator. We talked to him about that in his office yesterday. Said he can't wait to shave Sunday night. Pass incomplete as Moivau was looking for Rogers along the near sideline. Kind of a tradition here at Oregon State now. They call it No Shave November, kind of like the hockey players in the playoffs where they don't shave.
Do they shower though? What do we got going there?
Well, you know, I didn't get that deep into the questioning. I would imagine so, but that would be an assumption on my part.
All right. And there's Jaquiz. He doesn't have a lot of facial hair going. Got that pencil thin mustache. That's it.
8 yards to go on third down. Moivau flips it off to Jeremy Francis, and Francis scores. Touchdown, Oregon State, 20 yards. First receiving touchdown of the season for Jeremy Francis. It came at a big time. Justin Cahoot waiting for the snap. Taylor Cavanaugh puts it down, and Cahoot boots it through. Jeremy Francis gets the Beavers on the board. Oregon 10, Oregon State 7.
Now watch right here. He'll fake left and then come back right. Double screen. Now look at all three linemen. Every guy is out ready to go, and here's the receiver. He has any way he wants to go once these guys set his blocks. He gets it, keeps going. He has to break one tackle, and then look at the orange in front of him, giving him a highway into the end zone. Double screen, fake one way, come back to your running back on the other side, and off you go.
8 plays, 60 yards, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So Oregon State answers 2 scores from Oregon, the touchdown and the field goal, and now it's just a 3-point game with 2:22 to go in the first.
You love rivalry games because the emotion is so high, and there's these swings of emotion that the kids go through, but you have the seniors playing their last game at home for many of them. It's a very emotional time for these kids, and that's what you love about rivalry game, the swings of emotion. Some guys are playing their hearts out. Hey, they're down 10-0, so what? Come back and play.
Cahoot will kick it away for Oregon State. Chung and Holland are back deep for the Ducks. And here comes the fake reverse, and Holland is going to be knocked down. What a tackle made on special teams by Casey Koss. This Wednesday, Versus unloads with 2 big events in one night. First, it's the World Extreme Cage Fighting Bantamweight Championship. Miguel Angel Torres, who hasn't lost in 5 years, defends his title against the undefeated #1 contender Manny Tapia. Then, for the first time on Versus, it's the much-anticipated return of the Contenders. It all happens starting Wednesday at 8 Eastern, only on Versus. And we've got a big play here. Running down the sideline is Johnson. Jeremiah Johnson pushed out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
Now, Tim, I talked to guys at different schools in the Pac-10 about Oregon. I said, what is it about them? They said the speed. Look at this. You've got a guard and a center pulling. Great job. I see E. Kaiser out there. That lets Jeremiah Johnson get right through. There is nobody in the second level. Safety from the far side has to get over there. They all said the same thing. Guys I talked to, you have no idea the speed of the Oregon offense until you see it.
79 yards, his longest of the year. LeGarrette Blount into the end zone, touchdown. 2 plays for the Ducks, and LeGarrette Blount now has a new single-season record for touchdowns scored at Oregon with 16.
Well, LeGarrette Blount, when we talk about how big he is, saw him down on the sideline before the game. I couldn't believe it. His legs and his butt, he is huge. Absolutely a massive running back. He bounced off guys to get into the end zone right there.
Morgan Flint will try to add the extra point. The high snap put down, and Flint right down the middle. And in nearly the blink of an eye, helped out by the 79-yard run by Jeremiah Johnson. The Ducks of Oregon have reclaimed their 10-point lead at 17-7. It's like the microwave oven. You just hit on, and there goes Johnson, burning down the sideline.
Well, the speed, you know, when you're breaking loose like that, if you can get, if the blocks are made in this offense, if you can get them out of position by the way that you put the formations down, and then you've got good angles to block, well, watch out. You can make hay.
LeGarrette Blount. You see him with the FLA on the sun glare sticker on underneath his right eye, and Mike Riley, a bit concerned. He's been watching these games since 1966 when his dad came here to be an assistant coach. Riley went to high school in Corvallis, played quarterback for Corvallis High School. He knows all about this game. He's seen it from the inside out. Oregon to kick. And Rogers will get another turn. Takes it at the 9. Rogers just cannot find a hole on the kick return. Gets to the 26-yard line. Jeremiah Johnson got it going on that last drive for Oregon State, lighting it up from 79 yards.
Well, let me show you why he lights it up. With the running back on the far side, that allows the tackle to get here. Because this backer is all the way to shadow him, that allows the guard to get the cut right there. You get a down block and you get a pull. And when that happens, there is nobody in the second level of defense once Blount makes that cut. Second level's gone. Great blocking up front, great blocking on the back side. So many times you'll hear guys say, well, they're running to the right, they must be destroying the right side. It's actually the backside blocking, the cut of the defense that allowed that to happen.
All smiles on the Oregon bench right now. Minute 47 left in the first quarter. Moivals going down. Rashawn Harris, his second sack of the season. First-year starter out of Pittsburgh, California. 6'5" and 300 pounds.
Well, here he is working on the left guard. He just keeps working and then gets a good left hook move to get him off his feet. That's a big guy right there. You know, Adam Smear's not small, but at 6'3", 286, he appears small next to this guy, Rashawn Harris.
A loss of 6 on the play for Oregon State. The draw, and the catch is knocked down. A penalty marker after the play. Spencer Pasinger, the outside linebacker, the first one to get to him for Oregon.
Well, it comes in the area of a holding, and that's what it is. I wonder, when you see a block like that, what happens is the ball doesn't go where it's designed, and all of a sudden offensive linemen, you know, they're just trying to help out, just trying to get a little something, let their guy get a yard or two.
Holding on the offense, number 66. Penalty declined. Down will be 3.
Third down. up for Oregon State. Andy Levitre, one of the leaders on this Oregon State team. 2 out of 4 on third down for Oregon State. Trying to convert again. Francis, the running back, is out of the slot. 5 wide. And no tight end. Moivau lets it roll. That is going to be caught at the 40. And a first down for the Beavers.
No, with 5 wide, you run your slot and you cross him with the outside, with the man in the slot and your split end cross, and the safety's too slow to come up. Safety's got to get up there. Now, obviously, you don't want to get beat deep. You don't want to get it over you. But if that ball, if he's sitting at the line and the ball's out of the hands, you got to come up and you got to make a hit.
Howard Kroom, the second cousin of Sylvester Kroom, who today resigned as head coach at Mississippi State. Francis had his legs cut out from underneath him, but he falls forward and gains a yard to the 41.
Well, once again, is that the Rashawn Harris working against Adam Spear in there, and just gets himself, and he's got real long arms and gets his arm out there to knock him down.
First quarter is in the books, and the Ducks like what they see so far. The Beavers continue the drive when we come back on Versus. Well, points certainly have not been shy through the first quarter of play. 70-7. The Ducks leading the Beavers in this 112th Civil War game. Moivau to throw. First play of the second quarter. It is incomplete. Intended for Strotter on the far side. And there to break it up for the Ducks, Walter Thurman. Casey Matthews started the last 5 games at middle linebacker. Had a career-high 9 tackles against Cal and Stanford. That middle linebacker position so important. It's like the quarterback on defense.
Yeah, and remember, you're on the center line of everything, so where you're working can be really dependent on formation. So you've got a chance, and not only do you communicate, you've got a chance to make a lot of plays that
way. 3rd and 9. And Moivau sets, has time, throws deep on the post. He's got a man. Caught down there at the 35-yard line, Shane Morales.
I think this is where Oregon State has to attack. They've got to find ways to throw the ball. Let the offense go through Moivau. Let him throw the ball. Let him find his receivers. Look at the patience he showed there. He looked at 1, he looked at 2, and he comes back over the center to that post. Finds his man right there. They need to let Moivau loose a little bit to get this offense rolling.
24 yards to Morales that time. 1st and 10 at the Oregon 35. McCants gets the call. And it is answered right away. He is sent down to the turf. Casey Matthews was right in there along with Spencer Paysinger. These are the statistics behind the Gillette Fusion Oregon State original rivalry. The game is called the Civil War. It's the 7th oldest college football rivalry game. First started in 1894. And at that time, Oregon State wasn't even called Oregon State.
Really?
Oregon Agricultural College. They were known as the Aggies. Play fake. Moivau hit from behind as he throws. It is incomplete. Looking for Strotter on the post.
Well, he had Sammy Strotter open. Just that getting hit like that caused that ball to float on him a little bit. He knew where he wanted to go with the ball, and that's where we said they should attack. Unfortunately, you get hit like that, that ball's going to sail on you. And you look at it coming from the backside, hits him as he throws, can't step forward as he throws, and the ball sails. Not a lot of offense in your playbook at 3rd and 15.
yards to get to the 25. Throws that direction. Strotter is there, and he's got the 25. The spot, we'll see on the near side. It looks like he just got the 25-yard line, and if so, that'll be a first down.
A great job by Sammy Strotter. He pushes in on the defender, then comes back out. So he gained real estate on the defender, forced himself across the defender's nose, and then turned back out on the corner and got himself open. Good job of buying enough real estate by Sammy Strotter.
Got just what he needed for the first down yardage. Kroom comes back in as a tight end to the right. Morales in motion. In play action. Neuval lets it go, and that one is knocked down. Fans want to be the officials. And Morales not happy that there wasn't a flag thrown.
You know, on first blush, just like the fans, I think the guy was there a little early. But let's take a look at the replay. What's it tell us? Now, again, they're attacking middle of the field over the safeties. Comes in. Here's that ball. Tough to tell. I'll tell you right now, it looked like a good play, but we've been deceived before, Tim.
Paysinger defending on the play. 2nd and 10. This time, it's Rodgers. Rodgers has the edge. First down. And the markers come out after that play, but James Rodgers got out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
I think they might have a face mask over here from the way it was thrown.
Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. Number 6. Penalty before his half minutes to the goal. First down.
Walter Thurman caught for the face mask.
And here we'll get a replay of it. Thurman gets his hand out there and does grab it, does yank it, and doesn't let go, and that's why it is a personal foul. And Oregon State puts himself in a great spot right now. Now they have to figure out how to get yardage in a short field. We've seen them be able to attack a little deep. We've seen them be able to run the fly sweep when there's a lot of room to run. Now we'll see what they can come up with a short field.
Neuval will look to the right, dumps it off to James Rodgers. And Rodgers just hung on to by Patrick Chung.
Lost 5 yards, brought them back a little bit. And now they have to, again, you know, so much of what they're doing is lateral attacking. You know, when you're in this shortened field and 22 guys are bunched up in there, there's a lot less room to work. And it's a lot easier for linebackers and safeties to fly up to the ball and not worried about getting beat deep.
Maybe that's a good thing, according to what you've been saying. Move back 5.
You know what? It just might be. Of course, I'm a lineman. I don't like to move back.
Second and goal from the 11. Neuval has to run. Lyle Neuval slides to the 4-yard line. We were watching Lyle Neuval yesterday at practice, and he's had that sore right shoulder. So as he's warming up, he starts throwing with the left hand.
Yeah, and doing it well.
And he's got a tight spiral and a lot of zip on it left-handed. Now, Sean Canfield, the backup quarterback, does everything right-handed except throw a football and play ping pong. So they've got ambidextrous quarterbacks.
And, you know, watching them, both real athletes, I was struck more by just how loose they were, just enjoying themselves.
That's Rodgers in motion to the far side. Neuval, play fake. He throws end zone, incomplete. Looking for Strotter.
Well, the timing's getting thrown off by a little bit of pressure on Neuval, number 1, and then when he does come back around, a little bit of contact in the secondary, but it's not really enough to cause a penalty, but it does cause timing issues when your quarterback gets bumped off of what he wants to do, and then your receivers are getting a little bumped off too.
Taylor Cavanaugh to hold for Justin Cahoot. 22-yard field goal attempt. Cahoot is 14 out of 20 this year. Hit a 47-yarder against Arizona last week. Cahoot's kick is up. And it is no good. So a rare miss for Justin Cahoot. And the score remains 17-7 as Cahoot pushed it wide to the right. .11:04 to go in the first half. With Glenn Parker and Anne-Marie Anderson, I'm Tim Neverett. Crowd on edge here. It's only the first half, but the home team down by 10.
Well, your defense hasn't stopped them particularly well, and you've had some special teams gaffes. Start worrying that it piles up on you in a rivalry game.
Masoli hands off to LeGarrette Blount. He is muscled out of bounds by Bryant Cornell, the middle linebacker.
I'll tell you, it's a one-yard game, but I'm really impressed with the mobility of this Oregon offensive line. Guys like C.E. Kaiser and Max Unger, a center, pulling. You just don't see that very often. Pulling, getting out in front of the back. They're doing a good job. They're getting out there now. There was a great defensive play that time by Oregon State, but really like the agility of this line.
Pickup of 2. And it's Blount again. He's got a lot more this time. First down and knocked down at the 38-yard line. Well, LeGarrette Blount, and you talked about it earlier in the game, Glenn. He's a load. He is really, really big. He gained 17 that time.
Yeah, and you take a look. He's not particularly explosive, but he does a great job going north and south, right behind his pads. And then, hey, he gets hit and still gets himself 3 yards simply by virtue of outweighing the guy hitting him by about 40 pounds.
Laybourne had the tackle for the Beavers. From the 38-yard line, penalty markers come out. And Masoli will throw anyway, looking for Mail, and Mail makes the catch at the 45. He went out of bounds as he was coming back at the 46-yard line.
And Oregon has just had a lot of deep routes with comebacks. That's what they're doing to attack this Oregon State secondary. Trying to catch those guys peeking in a little bit.
Illegal formation on the offense. 6 players on line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, Mike Bellotti doesn't think that's true.
He's not happy with it.
Well, we'll take a look. Well, it's 6 players on the line of scrimmage, and I see 7 on the line of scrimmage. They must say that this wide receiver up here is back off the line. That's what they must have been saying right there.
So that backs up Oregon State, Oregon rather. First and 15. They're back at their own 33. Masoli on the zone read. He's got a lot of room. He's got a first down and chased out of bounds by Keenan Lewis.
Well, the spread zone read offense that Oregon brings at you, unlike a lot of teams, they like to run the ball number 1 out of it. Now you watch, here's the zone read. He sees the defensive end crash, he takes it. Now he's got to get up and he's got to beat the safety coming up on him. He does so, and it's good for 11, 12 yards before anybody has a chance on him. Now remember, when we talk about Masoli, strong enough to run through tackles, fast enough to run away from it.
He's going deep. It is caught. What a play. And a terrific catch by the tight end, Ed Dixon.
And they are really getting this no huddle up and moving.
36 yards. Masoli runs for 20, then throws for 36.
Well, he's going to find Dixon here, his tight end. Right down the seam on a little post, just running away from the over-the-top safety.
Ball is at the 11. Johnson tries going up the gut that time and manages to get to the 7-yard line. You see the all-white uniforms with the green helmets. Oregon has 4 different colored helmets. And Mike Bellotti told us when you add up the different styles of uniforms and the combinations, there's 768 combinations that Oregon players can wear.
Whatever happened to just having a home and away? Fumble, it appears, but they'll call this one down.
Oregon will maintain possession. Jeremiah Johnson.
We're going to look at it here, and he runs through the line. Let's see, does that ball pop out? Tough to tell there. It did appear his legs were down on the ground before the ball popped out, but really very hard to tell. And they're going to take a look at this. They want to get a better look at it.
Rolling on the field is on
Well, we'll get another look here. Well, his left arm is all the way onto the ground. My guess is they'll probably keep this one as him being down, but it's very tough to tell. This is where you don't envy an official.
It's a good look right here. Now the elbow is the same as the knee. His knees are still up in the air on top of another player.
But his left elbow is down on the ground, and his left arm and shoulder are down on the ground. But again, this is where they make their money. These guys, this is a very, very tough decision for them in a heated rivalry game, which could be a major emotional swing, and they've got to get it right. I don't envy them.
On that carry, Johnson went over 100 yards for the game, and we've got 8 minutes and 39 seconds to go in the second quarter. 6 carries, 102 yards, if that stands. Jay Strickers communicating with the replay official upstairs. Well, Mike Riley patiently waiting the call.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner's elbow is on the ground prior to the ball coming loose. Down will be 3.
And then you can see it right here. His elbow hits the ground right there, and now the ball comes out.
So Masoli out of the gun on third down. Masoli throws backside, and it is incomplete. Jeremiah Johnson, the intended receiver, got a hand on it, but just couldn't haul it in.
And he got away with a little pass interference on the offensive side of the ball as well.
And the officials meeting again.
Well, Jeremiah Johnson definitely pushed in the back to get himself open.
I didn't get away with it.
And as you'll take a look, the ball is in the air, and you're going to see him right here just give a shove. And that shove, you can actually see Laybourne's upper body move out of the way.
So now the Ducks will have a little bit more room to cover as they will be looking at
Pass interference on the offense, number 24. Penalties declined. Down is 4.
I might have given them a short field goal rather than give them another third down here the way they've been moving the ball.
Yeah, they took the down away.
Yeah, they were smart. They said, you know what, decline this, make them kick the field goal. They had moved the ball back for a moment there. I'm not sure I give Oregon another chance to make a big play on me.
Morgan Flint, who made one from 38 earlier, will try one from 22. He's 2 for 2 in field goals, and Oregon ups their lead 20-7. The Ducks on the road with a big lead over Oregon State. 1996 quarterback Tony Graziani throws for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns in the 100th Civil War game. Oregon runs away with it 49-13. A big win for Mike Bellotti. And a big lead for Mike Bellotti right now at 20-7 here in Corvallis. As the Ducks get a 22-yard field goal from Morgan Flint. And James Rogers will field this one at the 11. Rogers trying to find some room. Rogers is going to be hauled out of bounds by the kicker, Matt Evenson, and a penalty right after that. Let's go down to Anne-Marie Anderson.
I'm here with Jaquiz Rogers. Jaquiz, biggest game in recent memory for Oregon State. You can't be in it. What does that feel like?
Well, at first it feel real bad, but, I got to support my team and be a big cheerleader for them.
Your brother is now playing in the game. What did you guys talk about before the game?
Well, him and Sammy, they got to step up their game and make more plays than usual since I'm gone.
What are you doing for your team from the sidelines? What do you see that they're doing?
Well, I help the receivers out, tell them what I'm seeing in the running backs. Let them know what I'm seeing on the sideline.
Painful for you to be on the side. Thank you, Jaquiz.
Thank you.
And Brother James with the return. Matt Evenson, the kicker, with the horse collar tackle.
That's a huge play. You're talking now, instead of being at midfield, they're all the way down to the plus 34. You put your defense in a real hole.
Moivau sends Rogers in motion, gives him the football on the fly sweep, and Rogers is out of bounds after a short gain near the 30-yard line, tackled by Jerome Boyd, the stud linebacker out of Los Angeles. So he has the long return, and they give him the ball on first down.
Yeah, he's probably sucking a little wind after a big return, getting horse collared on the outside, and then having to get the ball on a little fly screen and run. Yeah, no, that's not much fun.
He gets a break this time after picking up a hard 3 yards. Francis is the lone setback. Fake to him. Moivau lets it go in the post. He's got a man. That is caught by Brady Camp. Camp, the backup tight end, gets a first down for the Beavers.
Well, it is a really simple seam route. All you're telling your tight end to do is release right up the line, right up the seam. It's all he does. Runs the hash mark, gets behind the linebacker and in front of the safety. There's a huge hole in the defense there.
Big hit by Patrick Chung at the end of the play, a gain of 20. Valley, Oregon 11. Rogers with the ball again. Not Rogers, that's Chris Johnson, beg your pardon. Chris Johnson getting his first carry, just his second carry of the season. There is Jerome Boyd again on the tackle. 6'2", 215-pound senior. So the first down is the 1-yard line. Took him a while to get going. Rogers had some indecision whether he was going to cut it upfield or go to the outside. But Chung able to force him inside, and T.J. Ward, the free safety, would finish him off.
Yeah, they do a good job. The Oregon defense is doing a good job of coming up. They're playing the lead block very well, playing both the blocker and the running back in that situation, and then letting the inside safeties pursue inside out and make the play.
Chung on pace for a season high. He has 8 tackles in the game so far. He had 9 last week against the Wildcats of Arizona. Third down. Moivau in trouble. Steps up and throws, incomplete.
A dangerous situation for Moivau there. He's put himself in he's scrambling a bit. He sees a flash of color and throws, and he throws it so hard that, number one, it's tough to catch. Number two, it's in a dangerous spot. And if that thing gets deflected, you're looking at 6 going the other way. Got to be a little smarter with the ball there, but they live to fight and get themselves a field goal here. And as we know, that's not a gimme right now.
Cahoot is out to attempt a 24-yarder. Missed his last one from 22. Spot is there, and the kick is also there. So Cahoot 1 out of 2 in the game, and Oregon State gets some points back. They trail the Ducks by 10 on Versus.
Coming up at halftime, the Craftsman halftime report here on Versus. Of course, we'll update you on the significant games of today and tonight. We'll also take a look at Row Vision, a closer look at big plays in this game, some great finishes in the Civil War, and our Nissan Heisman Watch. All ahead of the Craftsman halftime report. Tim?
All right, Ted, thank you very much. Mike Riley right now, not thinking about Rose Bowl. He's thinking about how to overcome 10 points.
Well, yeah, the thing is, breathe deep, get your defense settled, let them see if they can stop this team. But then, and that was a good job. They've had a couple of good drives by their offense. So that's the first battle you got to overcome.
Jameer Holland is tripped up inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line, an 18-yard return. Tuesdays and Thursdays Versus is stirring the soup with the new original series Sports Soup, hosted by comedian Matt Eisman, featuring the week's best highlights, lowlights, and everything in between. We're covering the coverage with the hilarious show that's Sports Rights. That's Sports Soup, all new every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 right here on Versus. Jeremiah Masoli and the Ducks start this drive from the 19-yard line. They'll throw to Mail, dangerously close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, interesting. That play is one of those ones, it's so hard to throw on the run to begin with, and then you like the fact that they tried it, but boy, second now 10 again, you kind of put yourself in a little bit of hole when, if you simply run the ball, you get yourself 2 or 3.
Johnson slips one tackle and heads to the outside for the first down and run out of bounds by Greg Laybourne.
Well, great moves by Johnson, man, making some people miss out there. Once again, it's the speed of this Oregon offense that we talk about. Very deceptive. Big Max Unger, the center, I can't say enough, misses his block, but gets up, gets it again. Don't worry, Jeremiah Johnson, bring it back right to you.
14 yards on the gain, 7 carries, 116 yards. Johnson's career high is 135. Did that against Stanford. Masoli straight ahead.
A little extracurricular activity out there. Guys are throwing each other around.
Keaton Christic would get credit for the tackle on Masoli. Masoli rushed for 170 yards against UCLA. That's a lot of yards coming out of the quarterback spot. Just 3 yards shy of the Oregon record. Now penalty markers come out again.
A little motion on Oregon.
Prior to snap, both start.
Driving back 5.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Ed Dixon says, my fault. Dixon had the big catch a little earlier for 36 yards. Gave Oregon a first down, set up a field goal. Masoli will check with the sideline and a new play coming in. Justin Roper, the backup quarterback, wearing a red vest on the sideline, signaling them in. Masoli sets, he throws deep. He's got a receiver open at the 45-yard line. And another first down for the Oregon Ducks. And making the catch, Andrew Pflugrad.
Well, it's a simple out route up on top on the screen on the left side. Hey, what they do here is they run a couple of shorter crossing routes. That leaves your out route one-on-one. There's no way for the safety or the corner to get there in time. Nice design play. Masoli showing he's got an arm today.
Aaron Pflugrad with the catch. His dad, Robin, is the wide receivers coach for Oregon. On the reverse, this is Darren Thomas, the backup quarterback. He's throwing deep. It is complete.
I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that he could make that throw, that he could put it where he put it, or the fact that it was caught by Jeff Mail down there.
36 yards. Darren Thomas, a true freshman out of Houston.
Well, he lines up wide receiver. It's a little toss. He grabs it. Now he's got pressure in his face. He comes up short, throws this ball. But look at this. It's right where it has to be, and it's caught.
Johnson trying to sidestep a would-be tackler. Bangs down inside the 5. Well, Thomas came into the game against Boise State. Now, Boise won that game at Autzen Stadium, but really acquitted himself well, throwing for over 200 yards in that game. Second down, goal to go. A 10-point lead for Oregon. They're trying to extend it. And Johnson. 2 yards. 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 2 is corralled by Pernell Booth.
Yeah, Pernell Booth, really good job there. Staying in his lane, knowing where he's supposed to be, playing his gap and getting upfield to make the tackle. And you know, most importantly, wrapping up and making the tackle. So many kids, they see what the pros do. Hit him with a shoulder. See if you can knock him down. Just wrap him up, take him down.
Big series here for both teams as we get close to halftime. From the 8, 3rd and goal. Pressure from the outside. Throwing over the middle, looking for Dixon. Incomplete.
Well, a good job. You forced him into a 4th down. You make him kick a field goal here. Now, you've got some time on the clock to make something happen on your own way. If you're an Oregon State fan, you also got to remember that you're getting the ball coming out in the second half as well.
A 25-yard attempt by Morgan Flint. He's connected twice. Make that 3 times now. As the Ducks of Oregon now lead Oregon State 23-10 with 2:13 to go in the second quarter.
Well, if you can work this well, if you're Oregon State, you get back-to-back possessions here. Run a 2-minute offense. See what you can get. Don't make a mistake. Don't put the ball in the hands of Oregon on a short field. Then you get the ball coming out after half. So you're going to get back-to-back possessions to make something happen.
The NHL is on Versus Tuesday night. Vincent LeCavalier and the Tampa Bay Lightning head to Philly to face off with Mike Richards and the Flyers. Tuesday night, 7 Eastern, the NHL is on Versus. Oregon's showing a little lightning here.
Well, you know, Tim, what were we saying before the game? I told you I talked to some guys on different teams. Offensive players, defensive players, and they all said the same thing. They just could not believe the speed of Oregon's offense. Every time they saw it on the field, it just seemed they're outrunning people.
Quickness is one thing. When you combine that with speed, and they are two different things.
Very much so. I was quick. I didn't have speed. Offensive linemen are quick. They're not fast.
I think that depends on who tells you you're quick.
Within 5 yards, I'm fast as anybody. That's when the monkey jumps on my back, though.
Well, you were quick in Buffalo blocking for Thurman Thomas as he ran all the way to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I don't know if I blocked much for him. He did a lot of that on his own.
Stevenson's kick is a short one, and Rogers from the 11. Rogers bangs heads at the 26-yard line with T.J. Ward. Let's take a look at the Levi's player profile. And tonight we profile Sammy Strotter, senior wideout for Oregon State, a very experienced player. 153 catches, nearly 2,500 receiving yards, and 14 receiving touchdowns. Sammy Strotter headlining our Levi's player profile.
Remember, Sammy Strotter played for, he came in, played as a freshman, played all the way through, and then got hurt last year. So he actually is getting a chance to play with all the guys he came in with as a freshman.
Francis is in the backfield. Moival fakes to him and then throws to the near side. Strotter bumps from behind, incomplete.
Ball just a little late getting there and a little too high. Got to look around. I think other than Strotter, he had James Rogers running right over that center void we talked about in front of the safeties and over the linebackers. So Moival just got to get that ball delivered a little more speedily and a little more on a line. Just floating a little bit on him right now.
Will Tukuafu, the defensive end out of Salt Lake City, applying the pressure on Moival. Jarvis Bird in on coverage that play for the Ducks. 2nd and 10. Again, Moival to throw. Over the middle for Strotter. Tipped and incomplete.
Ball a little high again, making Strotter come back. Strotter's got to make that catch. Obviously, gets both hands on it. But, again, we're looking at the ball sail a little bit on Moival.
Stay tuned at halftime for the Nissan Heisman Watch. That is coming up from College Football Central headquarters on Versus. We saw a Heisman Trophy in Mike Riley's office yesterday.
That's right.
Terry Baker's Heisman from Oregon State. He won it way back when. And
is it just me, or is seeing an older Heisman somehow better than seeing a new one?
It's pretty neat, isn't it?
It's just cool when it's an old trophy.
Flushed a little bit, lets it go. He was looking for Morales, and that one was knocked down by Paysinger.
Well, they're getting pressure on Moival. They're making him feel uncomfortable throwing the ball, and he's unable to find those receivers out in the voids that they're giving him.
Hecker on to punt. Jarris Byrd standing back inside the 35 for Oregon.
Now you've given Oregon a lot of time on the clock for a team that can score pretty darn quick on you.
Oh, what a play on special teams. Byrd was heading back, and a terrific hit made by Brandon Harden. 53-yard punt.
A great job by Harden getting in there, wrapping up, taking him down.
Flag along the Oregon sideline. Like some guys got a little too rough down there.
Guys are going to put a big plastic helmet on your head, wrap it in steel.
Personal foul on the return, team number 17. Penalty, of course, half the distance to the goal, first down.
We're going to load you up in pads, but we don't want you to get too rough.
Willie Glasper, junior reserve cornerback, who got called, and he was along the sideline. So Mike Bellatti's not going to be too pleased with that.
No, they've had several penalties right now on special teams that have hurt them.
So that backs up the Ducks to the 10-yard line. Masoli lost a shoe. Maybe he didn't lose the shoe. Maybe it was Keith Pankey. Or what is that? I thought that was a shoe.
A sock, a shoe, a towel. Oh, it's his hand warmer that goes flying off there.
One of the many accessories that quarterbacks of today must have.
Is it really cold enough to need a hand warmer?
It's 60 degrees out there. Garrett Blunt gets to the 11. Keith Pankey in on the tackle again.
Yeah, and Pernell Booth holding that line, understanding where his gap was, playing it vertically, getting in there and making Blunt cut to a gap he didn't want to go to.
Timeout. Oregon State University, timeout number 1. 30-second timeout. Timer set the game clock to 1 minute, 31 seconds, please.
This Wednesday, Versus unloads with 2 big events in one night. First, it's the World Extreme Cage Fighting Bantamweight Championship. Miguel Angel Torres, who hasn't lost in 5 years, defends his title against the undefeated #1 contender, Manny Tapia. Then, for the first time on Versus, it's the much-anticipated return of the contender. 16 fighters, 16 dreams. From Mark Burnett, the all-new season of the contender on Versus. It all happens right here this Wednesday, 8 Eastern.
Fired up for that Torres fight. I'll tell you. I'm an MMA guy, and Torres really good on the ground, really good jiu-jitsu skills. Like watching him, like the little guys.
Tapia describes himself as an octopus in quicksand. Oregon with the lead, but in a little bit of quicksand here on 3rd and 9. Here comes the blitz. Masoli lets it go, and that's going to be incomplete. Looking for Jason Williams. He just got rid of it. And a penalty marker falls down to the 31.
Well, it looks like a defensive holding call. Maybe he got his face mask or something as he was trying to get past him. They're going to call it, though.
Well, what a break for Oregon. Oregon State was looking at the Ducks punting from their own end zone. Now they've given up a first down.
Brandon Hughes didn't think he did anything. The fans don't think he did anything.
Pass interference on the defense, number 36. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And here's a replay of it. It'll be on the upper left corner. Ball's in the air. It's interesting. I don't know what he saw. We were a little behind it. We'll have to give the officials the benefit of the doubt because we couldn't see it, but it certainly didn't look like anything happened.
First down, and that's trouble for Masoli as he hits the turf. Slade Norris, a disruptor coming off the edge. Senior from Portland, Oregon, knocked him down. And another meeting of the officials.
After the play, personal foul on the offense, number 71. Penalty, of course, half the distance to the goal. Down counts and down
Well, they get Mark Lewis, the right guard here, getting in there to protect his quarterback a little bit. Getting upset they're taking him down.
Well, this is a rivalry game.
That it is. Emotions are flying.
Seen a few personal fouls already. Asked Mike Riley yesterday how the slings and arrows have been going back and forth during the course of the week. He said, it hasn't been too bad.
Oregon State University, timeout number 2. 30-second timeout.
But he also said, as I recall, but I don't read the papers or watch TV, so I don't want to hear all that.
Well, Mike was pretty relaxed yesterday. We visited with him in his office for quite a while, and one of the more laid-back, down-to-earth head coaches you're going to run across.
It's easy to see when you talk to Mike Riley and you're in his office. It's easy to see why he builds this program the way he does. I think kids get a sense that he is laid back, but yet he's very serious about the game of football. Family's very important when you look around the way they handle business on a walkthrough. Kids are out running around. It's a way they handle business in Corvallis.
He keeps jars of candy in his office for all of the kids of the coaches who like to come in, and he'll give them jelly beans. And he said the favorites are the nerds that he gives out. Mike Bellotti at Oregon. A lot of great coaches have come out of Oregon as former players. Bruce Snyder from Cal and Arizona State. John Robinson from USC. Just a couple of them.
I believe John McKay is also an Oregon Duck.
So Jeremiah Johnson continues his assault on the Oregon State front four. Victor Butler with the tackle.
Timeout. Oregon State University, third and final timeout this half. Timer set the game clock to 1 minute, 12 seconds. 30-second timeout.
You can see in the Pac-10 where Mike Bellotti stands in terms of wins.
Give himself 3 more years. He'll be the dean of coaches as well as the all-time leader in 3 or 4 years.
See the red vest that Justin Roper's wearing. Roper's had some playing time. He's been battling some injuries, but that's how they identify him, as the signal caller. He could be the hot guy or he could be the decoy when he sends those plays.
I would say, could you just give me something besides a red vest, please?
You don't like that red vest?
I don't need a red penny. How about a hat? Can I have an orange hat?
It doesn't match the green and gold, I will say that.
No.
It kind of clashes.
Oregon State doing a good job using timeouts here to get themselves in a position to get the ball back, a little time on the clock, maybe get another field goal, maybe get something going, knowing they're going to get that ball again.
Third down, 19 yards to go. Oregon State now has used their allotment of timeouts to stop the clock as they hope to get the ball back. But Johnson, he takes it and goes. First down and more. Jeremiah Johnson. He's going to go the route. Touchdown. 83 yards. Jeremiah Johnson. He's now gone over 200 yards in the first half.
He bobbled the ball, almost fumbled it, almost got knocked out of bounds. What they do is they rotate the safety back over the top because they bring pressure from one side. That opens up a huge gap on the backside. There he bobbles the ball. Here he straight arms a guy. Now he's got one more to beat and manages to get himself in. That is an incredible run by Jeremiah Johnson. And I think they're gonna replay this, see if he didn't step out of bounds.
It's under review.
Wow. Jeremiah Johnson, 12 carries, 203 yards if this holds up.
And here we get a look. Does that right foot step out of bounds? Not there, no. Maybe there, it's hard to tell. We'd have to see it. And then here's where they'll challenge it again. It looked like he's out of bounds about the 3-yard line, maybe the 4.
It may not stand, but either way, Oregon was looking at third down and 19. Also, don't forget on third down,
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Play results in a touchdown.
Wow.
Remember, Masoli
From that angle, we could see it. From that angle, we could see it.
They picked up that pass interference call earlier in the drive, which, had there not been interference, Oregon would have been punting from their own end zone. Now they're in the end zone and leading it 29-10. Jeremiah Johnson, 83 yards on the touchdown run. The extra point is through. 30. 10. A 20-point first half lead with 58 seconds remaining.
Take a look at his numbers today. Jeremiah Johnson with 203 yards. 2 huge runs in that, but an average of 16.9 a carry. Wow.
Well, he's passed Reuben Drones for 10th all-time on the Oregon rushing list. He now has a new career high in rushing, and he's got 2 more quarters plus 58 seconds to go. His 5th career game of over 100 yards rushing. Jeremiah Johnson, the senior from Los Angeles, California, the most explosive play of the game. And talking to Mark Banker yesterday, the defensive coordinator, he said, hey, we have to stop the big play, but they've given up the big play a number of times.
Just a ton of speed out there, and they can always counter with a big quarterback and a big back and blunt. There's just so many weapons to run the ball when you're Oregon right now, and they've done it against everybody, and they've opened it up. How? By having Masoli pass. His passing game has opened up the running game.
Not much excitement from the Beaver faithful right now.
Well, there's nothing like the motivation of keeping your rival out of a big-time bowl game to get you up for a game.
Stevenson squibs it. Rogers will pick it up at the 12. James Rogers trying for the outside. He'll have to give it up at the 30. They'll say he went out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Let's take you back to Johnson's run.
All right, well, they're going to bring pressure off of this side. So what they have to do is this safety right here has to roll back. And when he does, watch Jeremiah Johnson. He's going to take it right back out the backside. No one there on the second level of defense. Watch that safety. He's going to bail out from where he's out right now because he's got to cover the middle of the field because they're bringing pressure. And off he goes, right where that safety vacated from. The perfect call against the perfect defense.
No timeouts for Oregon State. Moivau will throw. And this one is going to be picked off. Touchdown. Walter Thurman, 39 yards on the pick six.
Well, we'd said all along that we thought the ball was floating a little on Moivau. He was getting a little too much air on the ball. This is a tough throw. It's a deep out all the way across the field. So he's got to cross one hash all the way out. Nice break on the ball, and it's going back. And here it is again. That's a tough throw to make for anybody. But now you're down. Everybody knows you're throwing. Tough play to make.
Wow. 37-10 as the Oregon Ducks have exploded. And Lyle Moivau has just thrown his 10th interception of the year. Quiet time on the Oregon State sideline.
Well, if you're Mike Riley, here's what you tell your team. All right, guys. Arizona was down 45-7 to this same team. And what they did is they recovered. They never got down on themselves, and they came out and started making plays and almost tied the game back up. That's what he's got to do. Everybody's just got to take a breath, go back to basics, and just stop making. Don't worry about making the big play. Just make your play.
Moivau and Riley conversing about that play. Lyle telling the head coach what he thought he saw. And the students stunned.
And there's a reason they call this the Civil War. When the vast majority of the population of a state lives all in the same area, I'll tell you right now, you might have 4 kids and 2 are going to one school and 2 are going to the other. It's the way it is up here.
Coming up at the half, we'll send you back to Ted and Roland in College Football Central, the Craftsman halftime report. So another chance with a football for Oregon State. This time they kick it away from Rogers. And a very solid return by Patrick Henderson. Henderson gets it across midfield, his first return of the game.
Now, if you're Mike Riley or Danny Langsdorff, you're looking at this, you're talking to your guy, Moe Vaughn, you're saying, listen, all we got to do is get ourselves a few yards here. If we get 3 on the board before half, we're pretty happy, and then we come out with the ball again and we'll make something happen. You're not trying to be a hero all at once. And every time I say that, they'll probably break a big long run and get a touchdown.
Well, again, though, 35 seconds and no timeouts. The sideline is your friend here. And Moivao facing a 3-man rush. They find a hole in the middle. And John Reese, the H-back, with the reception inside the 30. And Moivao needs to either spike it or get the ball downfield. He's going to get it downfield. And he throws again. Morales is open. First down inside Ducks territory to the 11-yard line. Shane Morales with the catch.
The Ducks are going to have to make an adjustment. There's too much room underneath their safeties and over the top of their linebackers right now.
And Moivao lets it go. It's a touchdown! Morales! They used 26 seconds to get into the end zone. Morales' 7th touchdown catch of the year. And he got a little banged up. So with 9 seconds remaining in the half, here comes Cahute to try to cut that lead. And it's a 20-point game. 37-17. And that has woken up many of the orange-clad supporters here tonight. Certainly Mike Bellotti not excited about seeing his defense give up a late touchdown, but still a 20-point cushion heading into the break.
Yeah, if you're Mike Bellotti, you've had some penalties on special teams that have hurt you, and you're certainly not happy you just gave up a touchdown right before the break, knowing that Oregon State gets that ball back again, and you have flashbacks, and sometimes you've given up a lot of points.
Well, if they can get downfield like that, and of course, Oregon's in a much softer defense at this point in time, but can they do it? Can they have a quick strike offense in the second half like they have a number of times this season? 22 times they've had touchdown drives of 5 plays or less. And they will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Remember, they won the toss and deferred.
And that's, people forget how important that is. Knowing you've got that in your back pocket, knowing that you're getting that ball again. So Oregon, they've got a big lead, so there's not a lot of pressure at this point. But Oregon State can play with a little abandon, knowing they're going to get it back.
Ball is still loose. It's live. And it is picked up by Oregon inside the 20. But boy, what a dangerous play. We'll look back at how Oregon State get in the end zone.
Well, your route comes up here, and then this route will cut. That draws the safety up and him up, gives you a little space for the cut to the outside. Now here it is. With the safety up, the safety's peeking in the backfield. There's your cut. He comes wide open. Runs right by him. Safety gets caught. That's the old hand in the cookie jar. Thinking he's got a pick at the goal line, he gets it thrown right over his head for the touchdown.
Now the first half is in the books, and it's been an exciting half. What's in store the second half? 37-17. Oregon has come from Eugene to Corvallis and has exploded offensively in the first half of play. Certainly not what Oregon State had in mind, as they are attempting to go to their first Rose Bowl since 1965. Anne Marie is downstairs.
keep possession of the football. We've been a little ragged about penalties. That's some of the emotion of the game. But, again, they're a good football team. They're moving the ball. We got to make sure we stay on top of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Mike Bellotti and the Oregon Ducks at the half with a 37-17 lead over the Beavers of Oregon State. It has been an offensive-minded first half of play. There's been a little disappointment and some big plays, and Jeremiah Johnson has been carrying the mail for the Ducks. Sold out Reser Stadium in Corvallis, and what a first half for the Oregon Ducks. 37-17 with Glenn Parker. I'm Tim Neverett. Anne Marie Anderson is standing by with Oregon State head coach Mike Riley.
Coach, what adjustments are you going to make in the second half?
Well, you know, we've got to tighten some things down, obviously, inside. They just split the seam and hit some big plays on us. So we can't give up the big plays, and offensively we can't give them touchdowns. And then when we get down there, we've got to score some touchdowns. We've had trouble in the red zone. So we just got to come out and play, try to get back in it early, and then fight it to the end.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, he's right. They split them up the middle, and you look at the rushing yards and the total yards for Oregon. 442 total yards in the first half.
Well, story of the game right there, those two things. 442 yards, but 11.1 yards per play. Now, penalties, certainly something that Oregon wants to get under control. Oregon State, absolutely right by Coach. Got to get points in the red zone. Too many times down, a missed field goal. A field goal here, a field goal there, not to mention they missed one. That's costing them at this point.
The Beavers will return the opening kickoff of the second half. Matt Evenson getting set to kick it away. James Rogers looking for a good return. 155 yards in kick return yardage so far for Oregon State. Evenson booms this one. He got all of it. Knocks it out of the end zone for a touchback. Many of his other kicks have been coming up 5 to 10 yards short. That time, no trouble kicking it out of the end zone and preventing Rogers from getting a return. So Lyle Moivile and the Beaver offense comes back out onto the field. 13 out of 25 in the first half, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. That interception ended up going into the end zone. Walter Thurman, beg your pardon, was able to run it back in.
Well, they have to be patient here on this drive. Remember, the first drive of the third quarter, both teams' offense is very, very important for them. So this, for Oregon State, a huge drive. Got to come away with something.
McCants starts in the backfield, and Moivile throws. It's tipped. And they're going to say it was an incomplete pass. But a good job by Nick Reed going after the ball as though it was a lateral. Let's take a look at the Craftsman tools for success. We gave these to you at the beginning of the game. How have they turned out?
Well, they had to get pressure on Moivile. How have they done? They forced interception, 1 back for that touchdown. Also, they've gotten a sack. They've hit him a few times. Score early. Well, Oregon, 17 first quarter points. That's something they've done. So they've done both the things we said they had to do.
Second down 10 from their own 20-yard line. Moivile again to throw. He steps up. He lets it go. It's complete. Complete to the far side, and making the catch, Sean Reese, the H-back from Upland, California.
And what did Oregon State have to do? They had to stop the run. Well, that's a big failure. 252 yards in the first half. And they had to get all their weapons involved, and that they've done pretty well. 8 different receivers have caught the ball, spread the ball around, but unfortunately, Oregon executing the game plan and the things they've had to do, they've done.
16 yards on the gain. Reese's second catch. And again, Moivile play action. This time pressure. Moivile hit and knocked down by Casey Matthews, and he will be called down. Paysinger thought he was running the other way for a score for a moment, but Matthews with a big hit on Beavers quarterback Lyle Moivile.
Well, again, pressure on Moivile, getting up to him. Rashawn Harris with a little bit of pressure. Now here comes another big hit. Down he goes. Casey Matthews throws him to the ground. You know, it doesn't always have to be a sack for it to be effective. Just getting him uncomfortable, getting him there. Yes, he gets 2 yards, but he's not feeling great now about his protection. He's trying to look down the field. Oregon State's got to just take a breath here and get some yards.
Strotter is to the near side, the bottom of your picture. In motion, Howard Kroom, the tight end. And Moiva has all day to throw it. Looking for Rogers deep. Incomplete. Jairus Byrd was running with James Rogers.
They ran a stop and go here with Rogers. He's going to come up. He's going to just stop for a short bit and then take off. A little bit of hand fighting there, but there was nothing to call. Jairus Byrd, good job, never bit early in the route. Johnson looks like he's going to stop on the little comeback and just go. I think they've run it too many times. Byrd understanding where his help was coming from and where the ball was going to.
Line to gain is the 46. Moiva fires that way. Incomplete. Trying to find Shane Morales, but the ball thrown behind him. And time to punt for Oregon State.
A very, very important drive. You needed to come away with something on that first drive of the third quarter. They don't. Now, look for Oregon to put that nail in the coffin now. They realize how important it is as well. They're going to switch field position right here on this punt, if possible, and then watch out for quick strike offense from Oregon, trying to put that nail right in the coffin.
Jairus Byrd waiting back at the 20-yard line for the kick from Johnny Hecker. Good snap. And a good kick by Hecker. Byrd hit before he could make the fair catch. So Byrd had his hand up there. And Harden made the hit.
I think Harden knows pretty well that he was wrong.
44-yard punt. And that's going to get shrunk after they mark off the yardage.
Well, the arm.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick on the kicking team, number 17. 15-yard penalty, spot on the foul. First down.
13-13 to go in the third quarter. You're watching college football on Versus. Mike Bellotti and the Oregon Ducks leading the Beavers of Oregon State 37-13 in the regular season finale for both teams. Last week, the Ducks rested, and they've scored 50 or more points in 3 of 4 games in which they've had more than 1 week to prepare. Earlier in the year, they had a break after the UCLA game before Arizona State. They came back, won 54-20 over the Sun Devils.
Yeah, I don't want to ever schedule them after a bye. I think that's what I'm learning from that stat right there.
Masoli, the handoff, Johnson. Jeremiah Johnson, who rumbled for 83 yards and a touchdown before, runs out of bounds around the 35-yard line. And he is trying to push the limits of what Oregon running backs do.
Well, Jeremiah Johnson, you know, just breaking loose, a couple of huge runs, good blocking up front, a lot of angles covered, but really a great speed back who's just making things happen for him.
Masoli fires to the far side. Mail has it. And he is corralled by Brandon Hughes, the senior corner from Bloomington, Illinois. Mail has one of the touchdowns. You look at Johnson, 207 yards, and we're just starting the third quarter. Career high for him and counting. Masoli with some pressure. He's hit. He's going down. Victor Butler got to him first.
They're calling the ball dead. There was no hesitancy from the officials. They walked right up and David spotted that ball.
Paul Louis took the ball and ran in. Again, nothing doing for Masoli this time.
Well, good front side gap control, good backside pursuit. They get to the ball, do a good job. I think that ball was ripped out. And if I'm Oregon State, I'm trying to get a replay of this.
Well, they've just shown it on the big screen here, and the fans reacting. And as soon as this ball is snapped, that's a dead play.
They called timeout prior to the snap. Sammy Strotter turned, looked right at the official. He was in the back. He called timeout. They want to get a look at this.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Oregon State University. Timeout number 1.
Now what they'll say is you can review it, but if the whistle was blown, the whistle was blown.
Let's see how this thing turns out.
So it'll be interesting. They might just tell them, listen, we called it down with a dead ball, but the whistle blew.
Why do you want to call that timeout?
He wants to for the replay.
Oh, yeah. So you go back 4 yards? It comes out? Maybe 5?
It was a fumble, and it should have been picked up and gone for a touchdown, but I think they'll just call, hey, the whistle was blown. It's their ball. You're going to end up punting it anyway, unfortunately.
At least according to that replay, David Louis should have had a touchdown.
Yes.
And that's the type of play that Oregon State needs to get back into this game if they have any hopes of winning the Pac-10 and representing the conference in the Rose Bowl. There are some folks in Pasadena, a little bit farther away in Los Angeles on the campus of USC, who are hoping that's not a fumble. Great crowd here tonight as we're here at Reser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon for the Civil War, the 112th time with Glenn.
I thought he was calling time, but
Glenn Parker, I'm Tim Neverett. Anne-Marie Anderson on the sidelines tonight. Mike Riley awaiting an explanation. Judging by that expression, I don't think he likes it.
Yeah, they're going to tell him, listen, the ball was blown dead. I mean, you might... And it's a bad call. It should have been a fumble. But we'll see what they come up and tell us here. Right now, it's speculation.
Ruling on the field is under review.
How do you review it? If the whistle blew, he came right up and made the spot. Okay, it's a fumble, but the ball's dead there.
The other thing about this is that the Beavers called a timeout to prevent that snap on the punt.
Yeah.
Now you look at the scoreboard, they haven't taken the timeout off right now.
Well, here's a look at it. Masoli gets hit. He's not on the ground. That ball's stripped. A very good job there, getting that ball out of there. Stripped, it's a fumble, it's a pickup for a touchdown. But they can't call it that because the whistle's blown. Watch him come right in there. He whistles it. The linesman is right there whistling with his arm up, calling it a dead ball.
A lot of folks at home, Glenn, are agreeing with you.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I don't think they can award the ball to Oregon State in this case. As much as that's the right call. That's one of the things in the NFL you look at nowadays. They're holding their calls a little longer so those things don't happen. Well, there we have it. Interesting, when you're looking around, we're being told that it's not a reviewable play. And that's what he's being told by the head of officiating. We'll see.
Communicating with the supervisor of officials up in the press box, and his forward progress was stopped.
After review, it was determined that this play is not a reviewable play. Forward progress is not reviewable. Oregon State is charged with timeout. The coach has used his timeout.
So the coach, I tell you what, it's one of those things you're right on, and no matter what, you can't be right on it.
You have to be able to move on to the next play and don't let it affect the next thing you do. Mike Riley certainly knows that. But boy, oh boy, the Ducks dodged a bullet.
Well, you get the ball here, you got to make the most of it. That's all you can do.
Strouder trying to make a play, and he's almost bent in half about the 27-yard line. We'll take a timeout. 37-17, Ducks in front of the Beavers on Versus. The Sea of Orange a bit subdued in Corvallis tonight. 11:30 to go in the third quarter. Mike Riley hoping that his team can come back in the second half. They've had some magic in the second half of games.
Well, they have. You look at that, outscoring their opponents almost 2-1. Now, some of that is obviously a factor of being ahead in some games and being able to pour it on, but you have to like what they're capable of. You get a score here, you got a game. You can get it within 2 scores with a lot of football left, and your defense just had a very good series. You're hoping that they respond. Again, though, first drive of the third period for each of these teams, exactly what you wanted from your defenses.
Royval lets it go deep. Incomplete, underthrown. So he was looking for James Rogers. Cole Linehan was there to apply the pressure on Royval. Tonight's game is brought to you in HD by Pioneer. (37-17). Oregon with a big first half, rolling up better than 440 yards of offense. They've got 434 right now. Crowd has quieted down because of the Ducks' advantage. They were loud at the beginning. Now here's McCants trying to make a play, and McCants ends up being knocked down.
And that's a young mistake by McCants. It's a nice run, but he probably gets 3 or 4 more if he doesn't make that second cut. That's where he thinks he's young, and he thinks he's faster than everybody else out there. But you're just not. Cut up field, get yourself 3 or 4 more yards. But you got a glimpse of what they see in that kid McCants, how good he might be.
One of the captains of the Ducks, Patrick Chung, making a tackle again. He's had to be a hero in open field. Jeremy Francis in at the tailback spot on 3rd and 6. Royval over the middle. That's caught for a first down. And it's Reese, his 3rd catch. The H-back, 6'3", 240-pound junior John Reese.
Well, Royval once again going middle of the field, over the linebackers, under the safeties. He's doing it a lot. He's finding that spot. There's a big void in the middle of this defense right now that they've exploited all night. They just haven't gone back to it enough. And you have to wonder, when is Oregon going to make the adjustment and take that away?
Receivers stacked on the near side of the bottom of your screen. Rogers now goes into the slot. And McCants running straight up and straight ahead. He is a big target. He's a much bigger target than Jaquiz Rogers, who's out tonight.
Okay, 6'1", 240, got some good leg drive. If anything, he probably stands a little too tall when he runs, but they said the same thing about Eric Dickerson, didn't they?
They did. We talked to Quiz yesterday outside of the football center here. Said that when he got hit last week in the first quarter of the Arizona game, he didn't feel it right away, and then that shoulder injury kind of takes a minute or 2 to start stinging. He thought it was a stinger. Royval looking to haul it downfield. Got a man. It is caught. 1st and goal. Sammy Stroughter, 47 yards.
Well, they ran that skinny post with him, and underneath they ran a dig. That drew the safety up. There was nobody there. The safety couldn't get back over the top. They finally come up with a little something. The adjustment was made by Oregon, and they get after him with Sammy Stroughter over the top.
3rd catch for Stroughter. He's now 3rd all-time at Oregon State in catches. 86 yards total receiving yards for Stroughter. End zone. Incomplete. Looking for Morales. And Walter Thurman there to break it up for the Ducks.
Another good play by Walter Thurman. Getting his head around, seeing the ball, putting his arm up between the hands. So here's a good look at it. It'll come right at us. And there's Morales. Now here comes Thurman. Sees the eyes, look up, gets a hand swing at it. Here's another look. Coming up to the hands, getting that ball knocked down. That's a very good defensive play by Thurman.
2nd down, goal to go. Ryan McCants in the backfield. Ball at the 5 for the Beavers. It's McCants trying to get to the edge, and he is pounded out of bounds. TJ Ward, the free safety, knifed up from his secondary spot to make that hit.
There's that youth. He's got 2 lead blockers out in front of him. They go up inside. He tries to take speed to the outside. You're not faster than everybody on a Pac-10 field. Get upfield, drive across, get over the end zone line, and that's what you should be doing. A little bit of youth there out of McCants, that's all.
From the 3. See the running game, only 55 yards. Trying to add to it here. McCants in motion. Moivau throws. Caught. Touchdown, Beavers. Joe Halahuni from Orting, Washington. His first touchdown catch. That's the third different tight end to catch a pass in this game.
Well, here you go. There's going to be pressure in his face. It's a waggle. Get yourself out here. Pressure comes up hard. He throws, finds the big target. Now, listen, it's a big man against a smaller linebacker. That linebacker's only 6'2", 215. Just use a big body in tight space. Put yourself between the defender and the ball and make a play.
Halahuni is the 9th different receiver Moivau has thrown to. Cahoon chips this one over the bar. And it's now 37-24. Quiz likes it. The Beavers still trailing, trying to chip away at that lead on Versus. The Oregon Ducks and the Oregon State Beavers, the 112th Civil War game. And Oregon State and their crowd back in it after the touchdown by Halahuni. Now Cahoon set to kick it away. It's a short kick, and this will be taken by Holland. And Holland is going to be swallowed up just over the 20-yard line. Let's go down and check in with Anne-Marie Anderson.
Sammy Strouder's catch and the ensuing touchdown electrified the Beavers bench. This team had been very quiet to start this first half. Now there's a new energy down here. Strouder and Moivau sat on the bench as one player after another came up congratulating them. You see a new light in the eyes, and certainly, Tim, as you mentioned, the crowd is into it now too.
And that can help the defense at this point in time if they want to make it a ball game again. Jeremiah Masoli on first down. Hands off to LeGarrette Blount. And Blount across the 25 up just beyond the 27-yard line. Stephen Paya leading the way to make a tackle. Paya, the sophomore from Los Altos. He's been battling a bit of a sore knee lately. He's an interesting guy, too, because he's got a rugby background. It's just like football, but with no pads.
Well, maybe not quite as violent.
Second down and 6 following the 4-yard run by Blount. And Blount finds the hole. He breaks free. LeGarrette Blount going to be tracked down by Greg Laybourne. Another big play allowed by the Oregon State defense as Oregon continues to run all over the field here in Corvallis.
Well, when you take a look here, what you're going to see is a crash. When he crashes, that's where the hole opens up. Watch the end crash the line of scrimmage. When he does, gets outside, and he's off to the run, races. He gets a big-time block from his right guard, Mark Lewis, out on the backer. That opens up things. Watch him run. 46
yards on the carry. Blount now 7 carries for 80 yards. Masoli in the offense looking to the sideline. They've gone to the spread option offense 4 years ago. Mike Bellotti was talking to us about it the other day, saying that now they've just gone from being part-time no-huddle to a full-time no-huddle team.
What they've done is they've gone to the big back now. They've gone to LeGarrette Blount, and they're just saying, you tackle this big body for a while. We'll tire you out here.
Blount running like a freight train. Keaton Christic, one of the orange jerseys there assigned to bring him down. 7-yard gain, 2nd and 3. Masoli out of the gun again. And again, he'll give to Blount. Blount powers powers his way to the 14-yard line, running into Stephen Pyatt. Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator for the Oregon Ducks, came from 1AA, or the FCS, with the University of New Hampshire, and while he was there, they became a 1AA powerhouse. And he really had one of the top offenses in the nation with some exciting athletic players.
And remember, when they hired him to Oregon, it was almost in the dark. People didn't really know what to make of that hire. And now they're seeing it come to fruition. And he's a name you're going to see on people's lists in the coming years. I know Oregon fans don't want to hear that, but he is.
Masoli with room to run. Jeremiah Masoli, touchdown. 14-yard run for the Oregon quarterback.
Well, Masoli's just so strong. He's able to get out of the clutches of one, and it's the speed factor that they have. You know, he is strong enough and fast enough, deceptive the way he runs. Everybody I talked to said that be careful with Oregon. They're so much faster than you think.
And it's a 20-point lead again. Quickness, speed, and athletic ability, that's what Jeremiah Masoli possesses.
Well, you know, again, they get caught with a crash. Masoli on the zone read he's looking right at it. So when he takes off, if they can get a block on him, they win. You take a look at the way this thing crashes, comes up, he gets outside of it. They're just not fast enough then once they read what's happened to get there.
44-24 for the offense for Oregon. It's spin ground duck. Look at the rushing attack this season. The yards have been spread out. And look at where they are today. Again, 206, a career best for Jeremiah Johnson. LeGarrette Blount getting set to break the 100-yard mark. And Jeremiah Masoli's been conservative the way that he runs the ball, but he hasn't had to run it because Johnson and Blount have been doing the bulk of the work.
That's right. And you know, the thing is, well, I don't even know, what does ground duck mean? Who eats ground duck? Duck breast? You sure?
He's calling out for some ground duck right now.
Yes, but ground duck? Who eats that? I think it's a play on ground chuck, maybe?
Well, when you're now over 510 yards of total offense in the game, you can eat whatever you want.
There you go. And just, you know, the thing is, when you've got a Masoli and you've got a Blount and you've got a Jeremiah Johnson, your defense is, your head is spinning because every guy is one missed tackle from breaking it on you.
Rogers from the 6-yard line, finding a hole and a head of steam, and he is dropped at the 28. A penalty marker comes out right after the play, but James Rogers, he took a lick right there.
No, you can't let yourselves get down. If you're Mike Riley and crew, just do what you're doing, play some football, and get another score. Something has to break for you.
During the return, holding on the return team, number 10. 10-yard penalty, spot on the foul, first down.
Let's check in with Anne Marie.
If you guys want to get an idea of how personal this game is for Mike Riley, you look around this stadium. He grew up on this field. His father, Bud Riley, was an assistant with the Oregon State team. Coach Riley went to high school nearby in Corvallis High School. He, in fact, even had a summer job here at the stadium, and he told us yesterday from his office right there that he was taping, that he painted these railings himself.
The railings are behind. They didn't used to be orange until Riley got here, and that ball is overthrown by Moiva.
Yeah, he said they were gray, and then they hired him on a summer job to come up here and paint them.
Yeah, Coach said, you know, it's not that easy painting these railings. You got to go all the way around. But he was very pleased. His office is right there. He looked straight out at this, and he said he was pleased that his handiwork still held up. Of course, they've repainted them since then, but he was the original.
They got a fresh coat and more recently here when they added on to the stadium and added a lot of amenities here.
What an amazing transformation he's had with this program and with this stadium, the way they've built onto it. Now, when I played here in college, it was basically one side. It was called Parker Field. Felt like I was coming home.
Wasn't named after you.
No, that wasn't.
Second down and 10. Moiva steps up, lets it go. He's got Strotter. That's a complete pass to the 29-yard line.
Lyle Moval's staying in there. He's taking a lot of shots today. They're hitting him. They're forcing him to scramble a little bit. You got to be impressed with his toughness, because no matter what, he is still trying to find his receivers even while he's getting smacked around.
15-yard pickup. Strotter. Mike Bellotti described him this week as scary. Respecting the athletic ability of the fifth-year senior. Moivau just flips it out, and here's Francis with a run. Francis across midfield into Oregon territory and out of bounds at the 46-yard line. A 24-yard gain for Jeremy Francis, the junior from Winter Park, Florida.
Moivau, a little pressure. That's his outlet. He just steps up. They'll just give it a little toss. Great job of Francis understanding where pressure was, where coverage was, to make that cut and get out and get himself 10, 15 yards.
Francis, a big contributor in this game tonight with Jaquiz Rogers out. He remains in the backfield. They fake it up the middle to him, and Moivau, he goes down. Nick Reed. That's his 11th sack.
Well, you have to be impressed with Oregon and their defense. Nick Reed, bottom of the screen, going to come up, gets himself, beats off the tight end there and gets in there and with a big tackle. Now, tight end's supposed to have his hands on him and shuffle with him. Does a good job of getting his hands down and keeping that motor going.
Reed is a semifinalist for the Ronnie Lott Trophy, also a Nagurski Award nominee. Second all-time at Oregon in sacks, now with 27 and a half. Second and 17 for the Beavers. And Moivau's got to let it go. That's well overthrown.
And there's a contact back there. You know, you're allowed to have your ground, but you can't extend your arms when you hit the receiver. That's exactly what they did. I think that's T.J. Ward out there getting a little bit of contact.
So a break for the Beavers as they'll move up. Morales was the target.
Pass interference on the defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You'll look over here on the right side. Pretty tough to see, but you can't extend your hands. T.J. Ward extends his hands after he hits him, and that's what they're calling. You're allowed to have your ground. You just can't hit him. You know, you're allowed for you can stand your ground. Can't push him that way, though.
And from Ward's standpoint, it's not a penalty he'd like to take when the ball is being released. He doesn't know at that point whether it's an uncatchable ball or not. It just turned out to be one.
That's right.
McCants behind Moivau. McCants works off a block from Rogers. He was spun down by Chung at the 29-yard line. It'll be about a yard shy of the first down.
Well, Oregon State's certainly not quitting. So much time left in this game. Get a score and hope your defense comes through. What I'm impressed with Oregon so far is they had every reason to be down. You know, we heard from Anne Marie. Oh, the sidelines electrified. They're ready to go. They're down by 2 scores. All they do is come back, throw another 7 on you and say, you know, let's start this over again.
Francis picks it up.
That was a great job by Francis, because he thought, you know what he did? That was not a lateral, but he pretended like it was, picked it up off the ground and ran, and they're going to treat it like one. You take a look. This is not a lateral. This ball's going forward. It hits the ground, he picks it up, and off he goes. They should review it. If Oregon's smart, they'll throw a challenge flag and review it. But in reality, they just got away with one.
Oregon State wants to snap this football in a hurry.
Yes, they do.
Moivau to center this time with a 5-step drop. He'll run. Got room. Moivau first down. Chased out of bounds as the Beavers work the ball down to the 10-yard line. A 16-yard gain for the quarterback, Lyle Moivau. And Moivau keeps in touch with Jeremiah Masoli. They've never met in person. They'll meet in person for the first time after the game, but their mothers actually got in touch via email. Masoli and Moivau have been emailing each other all season long, talking football.
See, you love that. That's a good story. That's a good. They only live 40 miles apart.
Go to the end zone, and Morales Morales is there for the touchdown. The fourth touchdown pass for Lyle Moival, a new season high, and he's gone over 300 yards.
Well, here's your throw. Good job, Morales going up, getting over the outstretched hands. Good job of tracking that ball and getting himself inbounds with that one knee down.
So Cahoon will come out to attempt the point after Morales. Sure-handed receiver pulled that one in the back of the end zone. And the extra point is good. Moival found him right near the back line.
A lot of credit to Morales. Very tough to catch the ball going over the outstretched hands of a defender. Thinking that you might get tipped, maybe it won't. Having the presence of mind to come down in bounds. Good job by him.
Let's check out the TomTom team travel log. Oregon holding the series lead here, 55-46-10. The winner of this game was the home team from 97 to 2006. That string was broken last year. And Eugene, just 40 miles south of Corvallis. First game played in 1894. They actually had to take a break in the series early on because there were too many fights at the train station.
I love it.
When they were traveling back and forth. Give you an idea how long ago it was, because no one's taken the train.
Not in this part of the world, and not sometimes.
Judging from the parking lot, nobody took the train today. 2 scores the difference right now, 44-31. Reser Stadium rocking tonight in Corvallis, Oregon. With Glenn Parker, I'm Tim Neverett. Anne Marie Anderson roaming the sidelines for us tonight on Versus.
Well, Corvallis, means heart of the valley. I don't know if you knew that. Heart of the valley. We're here in the Willamette Valley here. I try to bring something new to every time we work together, Tim.
You are like the Cliff Clavin of football.
Well, I don't know. I don't know much about football. It's a problem. It's all the stuff around it I kind of get.
Glenn Parker went to 5 Super Bowls. And are you the only living guy with 5 Super Bowl losses?
No, believe it or not, we got a flag down.
Penalty marker is out, and the return goes to the 20.
If you're Oregon State, if it's against Oregon, exactly what you're hoping for. Pin them back, hopefully win some field position, get yourself right in this game.
Well, Jay Strickers and his staff have...
Illegal block in the back during the return, number 53. After this is to go for spinal foul, that'll be 1.
They have been very busy tonight. Looks like the 11th penalty on Oregon.
Yeah, and remember, declined penalties don't count, so... What is that, about 16, 17 penalties on the night, not counting the ones that haven't been accepted.
And now the Ducks working in the shadow of their own goalpost. With the football at the 9. Masoli hands to Johnson. Jeremiah Johnson dancing through the defense out to the 14-yard line.
That's just smart football. You're on your own 9. Hand the ball off. Run north and south. Just get yourself 4 yards, 5 yards, whatever you can. You don't try to be a hero. Just get what you can. Those big plays come when everybody just does the right thing.
.890 yards of combined offense in this game so far.
And we have a lot of football to play.
Masoli hands off again, and Johnson up near a first down. Looking at the spot, he might be just shy. Brian Cornell, the middle linebacker, came in to make the hit.
Yeah, he filled a lot of ground pretty fast to stop that from becoming a first down. Brian Cornell, good job there. Getting into that gap, firing through.
3rd and short. Oregon State crowd is into it right now. 4 out of 9 on 3rd down for the Ducks. The spot will give him the first down. Let's check in with Ted. at College Football Central on Versus.
Well, Tim, a great first half in Stillwater, but Oklahoma gets the last strike just before the half. Sam Bradford to Jermaine Gresham, and the Sooners lead by 8 at the half. Tim? By 8 at the half. Tim?
Thanks, Ted. And here it is 44-31. Not exactly a work of art defensively, but offensively, kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I'm kind of a purist. I like. Oh, here we're going to take a look and check the spot. They want to make sure they got it right. Does his knee go down? He looks about a yard short of the line.
That series started on the 9-yard line. Progress was beyond the 19-yard line. First down.
I think they got that one right. I'd say they got that right.
And Mike Bellotti knows his team could use another score because there's still a lot of time left. A quarter and a minute 5 and change. Jeremiah Masoli changing the play, and he's got to go a little bit more of a distance to do so because of the volume of the crowd. Johnson up the middle. A penalty marker is out. And Bryant Cornell, the first guy to get to the Oregon running back, Jeremiah Johnson. Dennis Christopher was laid in on the tackle, the outside linebacker. Holding on the Ducks.
Well, hard to tell, but right in the middle of that pile was Max Unger, the center, kind of falling back. Looked like he might have pulled somebody back with him. They might have seen that. Always tough to tell in there with the big guys. You know, I don't believe the big guys ever hold too much.
Holding on the offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, they got Max. Max was in there, and he's hard to miss. He's a big guy.
He's a veteran making his 50th start tonight. 50 starts in college football is a lot.
And one of the better centers in all of NC2A football. He is a guy I think that scouts tend to look at. He's mobile, he pulls, does a lot of things well.
A new Reser Stadium record for attendance, 46,319. And by the sounds of it, they are all of that. Garrett Blunt into the open field. Another penalty marker comes out as Blunt steamrolls across the 40 to the 44-yard line. He is a load carrying the football. 33 yards. We'll see if it comes back.
Well, I don't know if they're going to call holding or a chop block or a cut block, excuse me, an illegal block. It was made at the center left guard spot.
On the offense. After this is the goal from the previous spot, still first down.
Yeah, I think they got both ran. I think they got the left guard, both ran. He went to cut, and he grabbed the leg of the defender. And what you'll see is it right here, right there, that block. See him grab that leg? Yanks him down. Can't do that. Just get yourself, you got to be a little more agile, get your head across the center line, get in front of the thigh, and chop them down.
Big numbers in terms of penalties. 112 yards in penalties, considering they have 522 yards in total offense. What might be had they not had so many penalties. But still maintaining that 44-31 lead, and they'll let the third quarter run out. 44-31. The Beavers and the Ducks in the Civil War. College football on Versus. Fourth quarter is set to begin at Reser Stadium with Glenn Parker. I'm Tim Neverett. And Masoli with a big run. Terrific technique out of the quarterback position as he had everybody fooled. He runs for 11 yards on a play in which Oregon State, following the Oregon penalty, had a chance to really pin them deep.
Yeah, and smart play because 1st and 25, you're not looking to make the big one. You're looking to get a few yards. You get yourself 12. Ed Dixon, Jason Williams out of the perimeter. Great blocking job by your tight end and the wide receiver to get some yards.
Well, Mike Riley and the Beavers 13 points down to start the fourth quarter. They need a defensive stop if they want to have any prayer of going to the Rose Bowl. And Masoli just runs out of bounds again.
Well, what they're doing well on the zone read is they're being patient enough to let the backside end take himself out of the play before they go. Watch the backside end, number 58 right here. He crashes, and off you're going. There's no one there to help out. Slade Norris has to do a better job of understanding this offense that's attacking.
Mark Banker, the defensive coordinator, said he doesn't mind giving up yards. It's the points that bother him.
Yeah, that tends to do you in, doesn't it?
Masoli lets it go, and that is caught. And there goes Terrence Scott. Will they catch him? Touchdown, Oregon! 76 yards, Terrence Scott from Jeremiah Masoli.
Well, here's a good one-on-one. You'll take a look. It's just a good job by Terrence Scott fighting for the ball, using his body the right way, put himself in the position to make that catch. Tim Clark couldn't cover him, not big enough, not strong enough. Again, credit Terrence Scott with using that body to keep himself between the defender and the ball to make that grab.
Scott was trying to listen for some cheers over there on the side.
There's not a lot going on there.
He wasn't going to get too many of those. And the extra point is good, and the lead is 20 again at 51-31 Ducks. Again, the up and down silence of the Oregon State fans. Mike Riley leaning into this one. His team trailing 51-31. And again, after a bye week, Oregon puts 50-plus points on the board.
Yeah, Mike Bellotti and his Chip Kelly and this group, they offensively, they're just so many weapons and so much speed.
Short kick, 15-yard line, James Rogers. And Rogers gets away from one man. Penalty marker comes out back at the 25.
Well, it was a face mask. He got his face yanked right to the ground, and they saw this one.
So they'll add on some yards at the end of this one. We'll see where they put the football, but Oregon State needs to score, but they also need to stop Oregon, which is something they have been unable to do most of the evening.
Yeah, and their drives are taking a bit longer than Oregon. So for all the water that they gain on one side, they keep getting pushed downstream.
There was no foul on the play. No face mask foul. Disregard the flag. First down and 10.
Well, we'll see what happens here. It looked like a face mask from up here. He's going to get in here, and maybe it wasn't. They don't think it is. Let's get a look. That sure looks like a face mask to me. I don't know how you blow that one off, but if ever there was a penalty you should be able to challenge, that might be the one.
Well, either way, the ball is at the 37-yard line for Lyle Moival and the Oregon State Beavers. Needing a quick strike here. Moival on the run. Throws sideline, and that is a good catch. Nope. It looked as though they were going to mark it as a good catch, but Rogers did not have control as it went out of bounds. Let's take a look at the Volkswagen in-game recap. See the number of points. Look at the rushing yards, 356 to 76.
You know, my math's a little fuzzy, but doesn't that add up to about 996 yards of offense so far in 3 quarters? Holy cow.
I suspect we're going over $1,000 here in just a little bit.
I would think so. Defensive coordinators did not show up tonight.
It is 2nd and 10 for Oregon State. Moival releases, and that is caught by Straughter for a first down. Up at the 50, so spotted at the 49-yard line. Again, for Oregon State, a win here, somehow, some way to come back. They would win the Pac-10 outright due to the tiebreaker with that win they had here early in the season against USC. USC playing Notre Dame tonight, and they'll play UCLA next week. Now, if the improbable happens, if UCLA happens to somehow beat USC, and Oregon hangs on here, there'd be a 3-way tie for the Pac-10 title, but Oregon State would still hold the tiebreakers.
I'm glad you figured that out.
Rogers figures out the corner. James Rogers is going to be brought down inside the 25 as James Rogers, a little running back, slot back from Richmond, Texas, puts Oregon State in some positive territory. 27-yard game.
Kroom, number 88, the tight end, gets a great block. Look at him leading around. Watch him throw himself there at the legs. That opens up everything. Big Adam Levitri out there. Andy Levitri, excuse me. Running like crazy around the corner. Andy Levitri's brother Adam was a Pac-10 football player as well. So that's why I went right to Adam.
Levitri and Greg Pete on the offensive line for Oregon State. They hang out with Nick Reed, the Oregon defensive end. In the offseason, they go fishing and camping and don't talk much football. McCants fumbles the football. Oregon says they've got it.
And the referee agrees.
And the Ducks think they've got the football here, and we'll wait and see what Jay Stricker says.
There is a flag on the play. We'll see what they tell us happened.
Holding on the offense, number 66. Penalties declined. First down.
So a turnover. McCants coughs it up.
Well, young guy trying to get something done. Head right on the ball there. The hand grabs that ball out. Very good job. That was Walter Thurman getting his hand in there to knock that ball out. Here's another look at it. Just right on it. And then, of course, being in the right place, doing the things you're supposed to do, hustling after the ball, gets Oregon that fumble.
Jerome Boyd, the outside linebacker, with a fumble recovery for Oregon. Garrett Blunt, who has been a workhorse for the Ducks in the backfield, has the carry. Anne Marie is downstairs.
You know, Tim, if you look very closely at the back of these Oregon helmets, you see a very somber reminder of a freshman safety football player who passed away in the summertime in a swimming accident. They wear these helmets, these decals on their helmets every game, and in every home game, they wear his jersey. One defensive player wears number 29.
It was a very sad story. And Oregon honoring the young man this season. Second down and 9 facing Masoli as he just whips it out to the flat. That might be a fumble.
Here's they got it back though.
And that is a dangerous pass when you're that close to the line of scrimmage, throwing it laterally that way.
Well, throwing it laterally, but the hard part is putting control on it because you're running full speed and then throwing at the same level. What you're doing is you're putting a lot of that's a lot of pressure on the receiver to catch the ball and turn upfield all in one motion.
Ducks changing the play, and Masoli has to make sure everybody hears the same thing. Masoli on their quarterback draw. Ball is loose. Oregon recovers at the 25-yard line, but a penalty marker is resting back at the 9. Getting a little sloppy here in the fourth quarter.
Well, guys are ripping at that ball, desperation. They're all trying to get to it, get it knocked out. And of course, the penalties have been a problem all game long.
The 14th penalty on Oregon.
Well, here's your play. They're going to call Big Fenoke Tapo with the hold, I have a feeling, and then a great job of stripping that ball out. Now you got to come down with it. Now you got to be there. Then kicks out, spins around, and Jeremiah Masoli comes back up with it. But I think they're going to get big number 57 with a hold. Got his hands outside the framework of the body and grabbed a little jersey.
Holding. Offense, number 57. Penalties declined. Down is 4.
Now, you wish you didn't even have to decline it. You wish you had the ball instead, but you'll get it here on a punt and hope your special teams come up with something for you and change the field.
And again, it's got to be quick strike, down by 3 scores. Mike Riley in his second tour of duty as head coach of Oregon State left here to go coach the San Diego Chargers. Admits that he didn't feel he was fully prepared to coach in the National Football League and was very happy to get another opportunity to coach in college, especially here. Sammy Stroughter from the 27-yard line looks for a hole. Stroughter up the middle. Sammy Stroughter cutting it to the outside. And he's going to be tackled inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. A terrific play on the run back by Stroughter, but a touchdown-saving tackle by Willie Glasper.
What a great job Stroughter setting that up. Take a look what he does here. He gets this ball. Now he's got plenty of time to spot and look. Then he goes, and it's straight upfield. Look at him run right up that hash. He makes one cut. He's still between the hashes. Now he breaks for daylight and gets out there. Good job of him of setting it up, being patient, and running to daylight.
55 yards on the return for Stroughter. Puts the Beavers in terrific field position at the 18. Moibaugh sets. He's thrown end zone. Incomplete.
Takes another shot for his trouble. Moibaugh been hit a few times tonight. They've been getting after him.
Last week, this team managed to come back. They were in the desert in Tucson, taking on Willie Tuitama and the Arizona Wildcats. But Sean Canfield got him in position with a big pass to Stroughter. The extra point was missed. There's Stroughter. And now the game-winning field goal, 19-17. Justin Cahoon put it through to give them a 2-point win. Moibaugh out in the flat to Chris Johnson. And Johnson is going to be bumped down by Jerome Boyd.
Well, with an incomplete pass overthrown in the end zone, you come back with this. You put yourself in a bind now, 3rd and 9. Maybe 3rd and 10 still. You've got to come up with something. You know, they too many times in the red zone. They've had too many problems scoring, getting the ball in.
3rd down hasn't been the greatest for Oregon State either. 7 out of 13 on 3rd down conversions, and they're looking at 3rd and 10. Need to get to the 8-yard line. Moibaugh throws it into the ground. He ran out of options.
Well, he was running the screen out there to Francis, but I'll tell you right now, Nick Reed, number 49, did a great job spying it, finding the running back Francis, and getting into the passing lane and covering him. Really good job of defense that time by the Ducks.
And no time to kick here on 4th down. Need the 1st down or the touchdown. And Moibaugh will have Jeremy Francis in the backfield with him. On 4th and 10. Heavy pressure up the middle. Moibaugh looks, throws, it's caught. 1st and goal, Beavers. TJ Ward making the tackle on Sammy Stroughter. A big catch for Stroughter. Patrick Chung also there defensively.
They've been able to sit down inside that defense right in the middle all night long. They keep going back to that well, and until the Ducks find a way to stop it, they're going to keep going back to it. Look at where he throws this ball, right down the hash mark. The Stroughter's sitting there. Finds a void, sits down. It's an easy pitch and catch for your quarterback.
Stroughter getting his wits about him on the sideline right now. Moibaugh, end zone incomplete. He was looking for Brady Camp again. He had Camp for a 20-yard gain earlier in the game. Jarris Bird, the cornerback, junior from Clayton, Missouri, there to break the play up.
Well, you'd love to see, if I was an Oregon State fan, I'd love to see, we got first goal on the 5. How about let's just mash them, push the ball in 3 or 4 times. Haven't done that all night. They've passed a lot in the red zone and come up with nothing twice.
Moibaugh, play fake. Incomplete. Tried to thread the needle, but a penalty marker is out. His intended receiver was Howard Kroom.
Moibaugh takes another shot for his troubles. He's getting beat up. But there is a flag down. We'll see what happens here.
Pass interference on the defense, number 2. Ball places the 2-yard line, 1st down and goal.
So the automatic 1st down on pass interference in the end zone.
Well, it'll be right here in the back of the end zone. You're going to see it as he throws this ball. Yep, he was there way too early. And then, of course, Moival has been under pressure all night long. Getting hit, forced to throw off his back foot, getting hit from behind. The ball's sailing on him a bit. They got to come up with points right here, right now.
Double tight ends, and they hand off to Francis. They try to pound it in off tackle. Casey Matthews in on the hit, along with Will Tukuafu.
Yeah, none of your offensive linemen got to the second level. And that's the key. When you run straight ahead, your guard, your center, wherever the double team block is, it's got to get to that second level. You got to get into the feet of the linebackers. If you can do that, you can punish people.
7th play of the drive for Oregon State. Moival, touchdown. Brady Camp. 5 touchdown passes for Moival, a career high, but he traded all in for the lead right now.
Yeah, I believe so. 8:34 left. Your defense, you've got to do something now. But here you got to look. Brady Camp, simple release from the front, from the backside, all the way back across. Sitting in that corner. Jarius Byrd, good job on coverage. Just too big a body there with Brady Camp.
Justin Cahoot out of the hold of Taylor Cavanaugh. Ball is back and the kick is good. 51-38. We've got a scoring fest here in Corvallis on Versus. 1998, Beavers running back Ken Simonton, 16-yard run on the second overtime gives Oregon State a 44-41 win. 85 points in that one, and really more than that now. 51-38 here.
And it doesn't show signs of letting up, Tim.
8:34 remaining in this contest, and there is still a lot on the line, and the Beaver faithful wondering if they can come back. So much build up to this game, more so than in a number of other years. From the 9-yard line. And Oregon will have decent field position across the 25. Injury report from Anne Marie.
We started this game with Jaquiz Rogers out. Now his brother James Rogers joins him with a shoulder injury. The trainer tells me he is out for the rest of this game as well.
Let's see where it happened.
Well, here you go. It was on that long return. He gets taken down to the ground, lands right on the left shoulder with a body up on top of him.
James Rogers, who had the winning touchdown in overtime last year, a 25-yard run off a fly sweep, is done for the game. LeGarrette Blount splitting the middle, and he rumbles near a first down. He'll be just a bit short at the 37.5-yard line. LeGarrette Blount now goes over 100 yards. 219 yards for Jeremiah Johnson, 103 yards for LeGarrette Blount. This running game has absolutely been rolling. Blount has the first down. Well, you talk to the Oregon coaches, and they'll all tell you, we are a running team first. Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator in his second year, has found ways to get this team moving the ball. I asked him about why he thinks his offense is so good. He said they've been pretty lucky with the kind of athletes that they have. They've adjusted very well to running the spread option. And as a result, they're just rolling up yards. 636 total yards of offense so far. Blount carrying some defenders. Isaiah Cook ended up chasing him down.
And this is where, if you're the defensive coordinator, Mark Banker for Oregon State, you've got to be so careful, because you try to bring your normal spot here would be to bring a little pressure. You don't pressure much, but you're sitting here at second down in the 40s. But any mistake in gap control can cost you a huge gain against this team.
One thing too, Oregon State's defense is not necessarily in the blitz business. They don't blitz an awful lot. Masoli finds a gap and runs through it. And he's 2 yards shy of the 50-yard line stripe.
If you recall, on earlier in the game, there was a bit of pressure applied by your corner. They rolled a safety, and when they did, that was the gap that was hit, and it was good for a huge gain by Jeremiah Johnson.
And Banker knows, and anybody who works to put a game plan together against the spread option knows that depending on where that tailback lines up, there's going to be another side of the field that's going to be completely useless. They're going to go to one side and hit either 1 or 3 or 1 of 4 gaps. It's just a matter of finding the right one. And Blount is knocked down. Bryant Cornell hit him from the side, but LeGarrette Blount picks up another Oregon first down, and the clock continues to move.
Of course, what you said there is based on tendencies, and if you break tendencies, then that other half of the field can be used. You know, that's why you zone read. You self-scout yourself, and that's how you can beat teams.
And when you see Masoli wide open running to the outside, that's why everybody's pinched in on the tailback. On first down, LeGarrette Blount rumbling inside the 45 down to the 44-yard line. So
you get the feeling that Coach Bellotti and Chip Kelly have said, we got the ball with 8 minutes to play, and we're going to run an 8-minute offense. We're going to bring in our biggest back, and we're going to pound you at 3 or 4 yards to carry here and see if we can't eat up all the clock before this game is over.
LeGarrette Blount getting close to a career high in rushing yards. 132 he had against Purdue. Right now at 114. And if this keeps up, he might get there. Slade Norris, ranked defensive end, came up to make the initial hit. Norris has been one of the best defensive players for Oregon State over the last 8 games or so. He is 4th in career sacks in Corvallis with 16.5. Third down and 7. And here come the Beavers off the edge. Masoli runs around it. Throws downfield. He's got a man wide open. Ed Dickson. And Dickson is into the end zone. Touchdown.
Well, credit Ed Dickson, credit Masoli, keeping the play alive. Masoli's trying to get to where he can get to that edge. He keeps his eyes downfield. And all Dickson does is, after he runs the scramble drill, he takes off vertically. Watch here. Watch Dickson. He's running the scramble drill. Now he realizes I got to get vertical. And Masoli, eyes down the field the entire time, finds him. Great job by Dickson, but even a better job of Masoli keeping his eyes open, not simply being content to run out of bounds and let the play end.
Saw Al Alfalava try to poke that ball free from behind, but Dickson just a step in front of him. And the extra point is good. So Ed Dickson dampens this party in Corvallis as the Ducks have gone in front again by 20 on Versus. The Oregon Ducks are soaring here in Corvallis over the Beavers, and what the Beavers would have considered a must-win, facing the possibility of clinching the Pac-10 championship outright, getting an invite to the Rose Bowl. They've not been there since January 1st, 1965, after the 64 season treated them well. 44 seasons. And Oregon in this rivalry game, all the players say they would like to do nothing more than to prevent Oregon State from going. Well, that's going to be fallen on at the 50-yard line.
That's a heads-up play. It's a squib kick, and it hits you right in the guts. What do? You fall on it.
Pac-10 standings right now. The other games, aside from this one and the USC Notre Dame game, they're in progress. Oregon State holds the tiebreaker over the Trojans. If Oregon wins this one, and then somehow USC loses next week to UCLA, there would be a three-way tie between Oregon, USC, and Oregon State. And Oregon State would have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, you think they'll be watching that game?
They still have a chance.
Thinking to themselves, there's a rivalry game and anything can happen.
Moiva going for Morales. That's incomplete. And certainly USC has had a much better season than UCLA in Rick Neuheisel's first year, but we've seen it before where some strange things have happened in that last game. That's also a rivalry game. Big one next week. Well over 1,000 total yards in this game. Oregon piling up almost 700 of them themselves.
Yeah, this is not old-time football. That's for certain.
It's not the single wing.
This is not 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Francis has the first down on the 39-yard line. You know, when Mike Riley played high school football at Corvallis High School, they ran the wishbone. He was an option quarterback right here in town.
Yeah. He goes a long way back here in Corvallis, and just hearing him tell the stories of being a kid around this university while his dad was coaching here, and he has a real appreciation for this program.
His dad, Bud, very successful coach in Canada, the CFL. Mike coached himself up there. And Johnson with the catch runs out of bounds. Again, Rogers an injured shoulder. So both Jaquiz Rogers, who did not dress for this game, and now James Rogers out for the remainder of this one.
Well, you have to like your team. If you're Mike Riley, you're competing, you're not giving up. Try to get yourself another score on the board. And if you're Coach Bellotti, what you don't like is all the penalties you've had.
Nick Reed drops Moiva.
Just more of that pressure on Moiva we talk about. But if you're Coach Bellotti, you don't like the fact you've been having a lot of penalties.
Timeout.
And the fact you can't close the door on a team.
Timeout number 2.
Timeout on the field, 58-38. You're watching college football on Versus. The Oregon faithful. Time to jump around for them. 58-38. The dejected faces of the Oregon State Beavers, who knew they had an opportunity, and here with just over 3 minutes to go, trailed by 20 at home. What a show the Oregon offense has put on. Moiva intercepted for the second time in the game. Spencer Paysinger. He's going to go. Touchdown. 66 yards. The second pick six for the Oregon Ducks.
Well, what can you say? You know, you're trying to make things happen as a team. You drop back, you look, you think you've got that middle of the field open, and this time Paysinger was waiting for it. Was deep enough in his drop to make a break on that ball, grab it, and go.
The pedals have fallen off the rose for Oregon State. And Oregon pouring it on here in Corvallis. Morgan Flint puts it through. It is 65-38. And that scene says it all as far as the home team is concerned.
It does appear to be a jailbreak for the exits, does it not?
And that 40-mile ride back to Eugene might seem like it'll only take a minute. Of course, getting out of the parking lot will take longer than the ride down to Eugene.
One of the things you love about doing college football is the stadiums are right on campus. Everything's grown up around them. There is no getting out of these places early.
Thurman had an interception for a touchdown in the first half. Spencer Paysinger, his second interception of the year. And he brings that one back.
Well, one thing, and you know, looking at, and you take a look at this, the new school record, 697 total yards.
Again, you might expect it, and no disrespect to Utah State, but a non-conference opponent early in the season, you might expect that there. But in your rivalry game, the one you circle when your schedule comes out,
and the one that meant going to the Rose Bowl or not, all of those things, unexpected to be sure. But I will say this, you know, when we shown some pictures of guys with their heads down on the sidelines, they don't need their heads down. They got their helmet on, they came out and they put their hat in the ring. It's for the fans to hang their heads, not the players.
This is Patrick Henderson getting a good return, but a marker is out. And Henderson into Oregon territory. And the marker out by midfield. So Henderson moving over to the right on the kick return, taking the place of James Rogers. Jaquiz Rogers knows he's got 3 more of these games left. He's unable to play here tonight. That's the Pac-10's leading rusher, Jaquiz Rogers.
Appears to be 2 flags on the play, by the way.
You know, the Rogers brothers coming into this game accounted for 56% of the yards. And, well, the Ducks making an appetite out of the Rose. Look at those points at 65. The most points they gave up this year, 45 early in the year to Penn State. Plenty to celebrate for Oregon. Didn't see a ton of green and gold around Corvallis today, as you probably expect. But what is in town is here tonight.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, face mask on Oregon number 54. After the play, personal foul, Oregon State number 25. Both penalties will be enforced. First down.
If you have 2 15-yard penalties, how do you enforce them both?
That's for the guys in the stripes to figure out. We talked about the school record for yardage gained by Oregon, but how about that? 65. Most allowed ever. The old record was 63 points allowed. They've been playing this game since 1894. They've had a lot of football games at Oregon State. Never before have they allowed 65 against them.
And you know, there's part of you that says that maybe when that interception he shouldn't have run it back, but in a rivalry game, you always take it back.
Moival. Did he go down? Yes, he did. So Moival trying to escape the clutches of Mike Speed. And I think Speed emphasizes what we saw here tonight, both offensively and defensively. Moival down the middle. Got a man wide open. Strouder. Sammy Strouder.
And he gets a hand from the crowd. He's had a phenomenal career here for the Beavers and well-deserved hand from the crowd. He's a guy that, you know, he's made so many plays for this team over the years, and he's been a guy on returns and the big play last week against Arizona to get them in position to kick the field goal to win it. Sad to see him go out this way in his final game.
Morales hit at the 30. And all Oregon State can do is try to move the ball downfield. It's a first down. Chains will move. Clock runs under 2 minutes. And Moival is going to go down for a loss. The ball is free. And Oregon has the football back.
You know what? Blindside rush gets hit, drops that ball, it's picked up. I'm going to point out one guy who did something pretty special there, the center. Alex Linenkolb doesn't give up on the play, hustles and makes a tackle to save a score. Doesn't give up. Anybody can walk off the field at that point and say, I've done my job. Instead, what's he trying to do? He hustles. Both the guy, everybody's hustling, trying to make a play. That's the big guys you see out there. That's offensive linemen doing their best.
Brandon Bear, his first fumble recovery. And now, Justin Roper is in at quarterback for Oregon. Sophomore from Buford, Georgia. Getting a chance to get some snaps at the end of this game. One that has gotten away from the home team. The Beavers with an opportunity to win the conference. They'll have to hope UCLA can pull off a miracle against USC, but USC has to feel pretty good about their chances of winning the Pac-10 title.
Yeah, they just got to take care of business against UCLA, and they'll get their chance at the granddaddy of them all. Now, of course, USC very happy to get to that Rose Bowl.
If they hadn't, they would have more than likely been the top at-large team taken.
Yes.
When the BCS standings would come out as a final. And
which would have meant more money to everybody within the conference.
To another bowl, you'd have two teams in the BCS.
Yes.
So you double the $17 million payout, and instead you'll have one team going. And there's also a team in Columbus, Ohio that's a little excited because they may move up. The Ohio State Buckeyes could move up and be that at-large team. So the clock's going to continue to wind, and Mike Bellotti gets a shower.
I wish they'd find a new routine. Am I the only one that... I mean, it's great. It's a very... He deserves it. It's a great job by them. I mean, how excited are you for a rivalry game to come in this big and play the way you did? Your team shows up, overcomes penalties, overcomes the home field crowd, and just continues to impress with speed and power.
Outstanding efforts tonight. Nearly 700 yards in offense for the Oregon Ducks as they come to Corvallis, and Mike Bellotti's team knocks off the Beavers of Oregon State 65-38. Let's go back to the studios, and Ted and Roland, College Football Central on Versus.